Pokemon fans, Tamashii here. But not everyone loves the yellow rodent.
Tamashii? Are you calling yourself a yellow rodent? Is there something you're not telling us? Was there a line that you recorded for this but forgot to include? Because I can't think of any other reason as to why you would have that transition. Literally, you go, "Hi, I'm Tamashii, but not everyone loves Pikachu." And if that's not what you're trying to say, it certainly could have been worded better.
No one can deny that when you think about Pokemon, Pikachu is one of the first images that pops into your head.
When you think of Pokemon, what is the first thing that comes to mind?
Pikachu. So does this mean she's learning, or...?
And in every generation of Pokemon games, Game Freak has tried to capitalize on this by introducing a Pikachu clone to try to sell the new games.
For anyone who's asking, I will be addressing in greater detail the fact that an evolution of Pikachu is listed among the Pika clones later. For now, legit question. When has a Pikachu clone ever been used to try and promote a new generation? Or at least enough to be considered an actual influence on why the generation got anywhere?
For the most part, these little guys don't tend to be too popular, since they're pretty redundant by design.
So going by what we just said, they all fail.
Congratulations! Congratulations!
Okay, we're good.
But a lot of thought goes into how each Pika wannabe represents their generation. Each Pikachu clone has to capture what we love about Pikachu, while integrating something iconic from the game it's representing to really sell that feature to the public.
Not really. There's no real need for a Pika clone to integrate something from that generation to sell the feature, or vice versa. Hell, Pikachu didn't even do that. When Pokemon first came to be, it was just an electric mouse. It didn't promote trading, unlike version exclusives or trade-only evolutions. It was only after it and Pokemon became so popular that Pikachu got any special treatment.
So how well does each Pikachu lookalike represent its game? Today we're going to rank all 5 of the Pikachu spawn and find out. But first, a little background on Pikachu.
This is filler. That's all this part is. This adds nothing in regards to what comes later. Even if it's just fun trivia, it wouldn't be nearly as egregious if you connected this to something else in the video other than "Hey you, Pikachu." Otherwise, I could swap this out with a Young Thug song and literally get the same result.
My diamonds just say Pikachu. They say Pikachu. I'm a boss, I walk to the club and just Pikachu.
Anyone else sensing a pattern with this list?
Number 5, Pachirisu. Generation 4 brought a lot of huge innovations to the series. With the physical special split, battling got a lot more balanced and diverse. And with the Nintendo Wi-Fi connection, Pokemon can now be traded around the world. There's a decent amount there to work with that's really unique to Diamond and Pearl, so certainly they could come up with something interesting for its mascot to really represent all these features, right?
Okay, I just have to stop you right there. Have you not read the definition of mascot? A person, animal, or object uses a symbol to represent a group, such as a sports team, and to bring good luck. That's how Merriam-Webster defines it. And with this in mind, how is Pachirisu a mascot? Pikachu, yes. Even without the clones, it's one of the most iconic Pokemon out there. And, well, it's called a Pika clone for a reason. Pachirisu? Hell, pretty much every other Pika clone too. No, none are symbols or represent anything. You want a mascot for Gen 4? Look at the box art. I'm pretty sure that's not Pachirisu. And funny thing, most mascots don't have a gimmick to sell for that generation, just their concepts, status, or design. Red and Blue, the mascots were the starters. Gen 2, legendary birds. Gen 3, behemoths that could control the weather. Gen 4, creatures in charge of time and space. Gen 5, yin and yang. Gen 6, life and death. Actually, now that I think about it, you could salvage something with Xerneas, as it is a fairy type and was introduced in the same generation as the fairy type itself. But there's a shit ton more to Xerneas than just low fairy.
Well, for the life of me, if Pachirisu is meant to represent any part of Diamond and Pearl, I can't figure it out. There's nothing in its name or design that reminds me of anything in the games.
Fine, I can fight fire with fire. The colors of Pachirisu are primarily white and blue. The white coat represents snow, and the fact that Sinnoh is based on an island of Hokkaido, the northernmost region of Japan. You know what's usually north? Snow! Lots and lots of snow! And the blue could be a reference to the primary color of electricity, or the primary color that's associated with Wi-Fi. But that's just me thinking way too deep into this. AKA this list in a nutshell. Oops, did I say that out loud?
At first I thought maybe it was more abstract, like maybe its stats and moves would showcase the benefits of splitting physical and special moves, but its base attack and special attack are exactly the same.
But not space defense or special defense.
Sideways, its ears and the little line on its forehead could maybe represent signal bars and a Wi-Fi connection, but that's really pushing it. As much as I love Pachirisu for the way Seijun Park worked it into his team a couple years ago at Worlds, as a mascot it really makes the least sense.
Well, of course it makes little sense as a mascot. That'd be because it's not. These are. They are. This guy is. That guy isn't.
Number 4. Dedenne. Generation 6 focused much more on graphical overhaul than adding lots of features.
Board battles, sky battles, more directional movement, customizable character.
But it did introduce a new type, fairy, so of course the mascot of this generation is half fairy.
No, the mascot for this generation is full fairy. Its name is Xerneas. It's a deer with multicolored antlers and sword legs. Your mascot is Rainbow Bambi, not this thing.
It definitely makes me think of Callus when I hear the typing, but just looking at Dedenne, there's nothing in its design that communicates to me that it is a fairy type, so it falls a little flat. Also, with Generation 6 having a huge focus on beauty in the region of France, you would think there'd be a better basis for its design than a Japanese dormouse. So Dedenne gets participation points since it doesn't outright fail to represent its region, but it doesn't stand out at all, and it fails to really sell me on the idea of a fairy-type Pokemon.
Hence why just telling me it's a Pika-clone's job to do that doesn't really work. Keep in mind, this generation also provided us with a fairy-type evolution and 2 fairy-type legendaries, one being a mascot legendary. Even then, who would I think of as a fairy type before the Pokemon you said was meant to promote the type? How about the 4 Pokemon shown off when the type was first introduced? Also, why does Pachirisu fail as a Pika-clone when it's objectively one of the better ones, as evidenced by the footage of it winning the World Championship in 2014? Even if it still fails as one, remember this?
For the most part, these little guys don't tend to be too popular, since they're pretty redundant by design.
You're arbitrarily throwing it under the bus because it doesn't have a gimmick.
Number 3. Emolga. It's hard to put my finger on one feature that Gen 5 brought to the table, since it's really known more for its ambitious story and strong characters than anything else. I mean, sure, it introduced triple and rotation battles, the Dream World, and musicals, but when you ask people about Black and White, I'm not sure many of them would actually remember those things were in the game, since they were such a small part of it.
So right there, saying that a Pika-clone has to follow this arbitrary standard is dumb, since the standout aspect of this generation is how set apart it is from every other generation in this series.
So how do you design a mascot to represent such a complex and story-driven Pokemon game?
You know, you get the point.
Well, it seems like they just kind of distilled it down to the core theme. Emolga is Black and White's mascot because it's black and it's white. Get it? Otherwise, they didn't really try very hard to work at incorporating more unique features from the game into its design. And with how many Pokemon in the Unova Dex use this color scheme to begin with, it took me a while to even notice what stood out about Emolga.
Here's something that should have stood out from the get-go. It's the first dual-type Pika-clone. Sure, the typing isn't unique, but Emolga is still the first in this regard.
I guess if you really want to stretch it, Emolga's name in Japanese is Emanga, and Emon translates into garment or drape, which is a reference to the flaps on its arms, but it could also possibly reference the costumes your Pokemon get to wear in musicals, which are one of the worst parts of Generation 5.
Still something Gen 5 had, thus having something to follow your bullshit criteria.
If you asked me to design a Pokemon to be the mascot of Gen 5 that had to resemble Pikachu, I'm not sure I could really do better either, with how little Gen 5 offered feature-wise.
Even if it's not much, there's still triple and rotation battles. Have your Pikachu clone do something with that. Keeping in mind what your number 1 will be, have either 1 or 3 Pokemon work with the concept in mind.
So I give this one some credit anyway. It's not a terrible mascot, but it does illustrate how hard it is to really sell something on story alone.
That's why you'd have something that's very lore-based, something that has more to it than just design, something that's Kyurem. Well, I'm trying to describe as Kyurem, or at least Reshiram and Zekrom. You know, Pokemon that are actually promoted, unlike Emolga.
Number 2. Pichu. I know Pichu doesn't really count as a Pikachu clone, since it's actually just an extension of Pikachu's evolutionary line, but it does fill the mascot role for its generation, so it'll have to count for this list.
And you just shot your list in the foot. Pichu shouldn't be here since, unlike all the other Pika clones, they aren't related to Pikachu by evolution. Pichu is a direct extension of Pikachu. Sure, it's a pre-evolution, and ironically, it's the only Pokemon I see here as an actual mascot for being one of, if not the most popular baby Pokemon, but it's also related to Pikachu. The only context where Pika-clone should apply to Pichu is Melee. Plus, in regards to Gen 2, there's another Pokemon that you could consider for this list. Meryl. This was the Pokemon that was originally nicknamed Pika-Blue for sharing similar elements with Pikachu. Oh, I see. It doesn't count because it's not an electric type. Well, by including Pichu, you're already stretching your options. If you really wanted to make a top 5 and not include Pokemon that would be cheating if they were included, let's wait until your number 1.
I think probably the biggest core mechanic it brought to the table though was Pokemon gender and breeding, so it's fitting that the mascot of this generation is only obtainable through breeding. Though I'm not much a fan of baby Pokemon, they were a clever way to introduce players to the new mechanic.
Excuse me, introduce? I'm sorry, but I don't care right now if you find Togepi or Togetic disappointing. If any Pokemon introduced the concept to players, it'd be the first egg you got. That's not Pichu, that's Togepi. Now fuck the rest of this segment. Also fuck this list.
And the number 1 Pikachu clones are Plusle and Minun.
Your number 1 are 2 Pokemon, for a grand total of 6 Pikachu clones on the list. Take out Pichu and not include Meryl, and you have a top 5. And if anyone tries to argue to Tamashii's praises for Plusle and Minun could it be exactly the same and doing 2 separate segments would be redundant, I point to her top 10 worst gym leaders, where she did one segment covering multiple gym leaders not once, but twice on that list. This idea is not a foreign concept to you, Tamashii. You could have had them as your number 2 and number 1, and things still would have worked out.
Generation 3 was a big turning point for the series. We were leaving 8-bit behind, and all that went with it. So we had to really start over with a new world and lots of new features to introduce to people. Aside from moving up to 32-bit, double battles were the big selling point of Ruby and Sapphire. So of course, they required 2 mascots that each knew a double battle specific move, and had abilities, another new feature, to help them work together. With Helping Hand and their plus and minus abilities, Plusle and Minun tie everything about Ruby and Sapphire together in one cute package to sell to people.
I'm sorry, but if Plusle and Minun are there to tie up Gen 3 in one package, then Gen 3 must suck. Yes, they're there to promote the concept of double battles, but Gen 3 also had plenty of other duels that could do the concept, and better. For instance, Volbeat and Illumise, Latios and Latias, Solrock and Lunatone. The last 2 get special mention because the gym leaders that actually focus on double battles use those 2, and not the Pokemon that you said promoted the concept. In fact, you know what sold me on double battles? The actual battles, not the duels they created for it, and especially not a duel that can only really work in double battles. Speaking of, guess what game pretty much had nothing but double battles? If you guessed Pokemon Coliseum and or XD, you'd be right. With 2 entire games based around this type of battle, you get more practice as to what works and what doesn't work in doubles. Also notably, Plusle is in Coliseum, but not Minun. How does it perform? Terribly. While you could theoretically train it to be usable, it starts off at level 13, at a point where the last Shadow Pokemon you had to fight was level 35. Sure, while there are only 2 other electric types in the game, Flappy is already available at this point and starts off at level 30, meaning that it can evolve almost immediately after purification. And the other electric type is Raikou, a fucking legendary. It would be unfair to compare the usefulness of a legendary to that of a Pika clone, but if you still think that Typhlosion is overrated because Entei is better, then I don't think this comparison is that unfair either.
Even the colors, Ruby and Sapphire. Unfortunately for a lot of people, it was just too different, with the bright palettes that could support a lot of different colors and the new gimmicks, so these mascots weren't very popular with a lot of people.
Oh, there's far more than just that. Nothing about how they're literally just Pikachu, but with red and blue instead of black? How about the fact that without double battles, they absolutely suck? Their abilities only work when the other's on the field, and without the other, they are weak and they can't do anything. At least the other duels don't need the other member to work in doubles. And that's even implying they'd actually work, since Plusle and Minun are very susceptible to a very powerful and very common double battle move, Earthquake. Even Pokemon who'd get plus or minus later on get this massive weakness too. And the fact that you need another Pokemon with a specific ability makes plus and minus extremely cancerous as abilities.
But I do still admire how committed to their concept they were. Game Freak really believed in the game they were making, and celebrated those games full out when designing Plusle and Minun. So to me, they're the epitome of Pokemon mascots.
Even if we just considered Plusle and Minun the best Pika clones, that's all they'd be. Pika clones. Hell, they're not even Pika clone mascots. That'd be the Pokemon they're clones of in the first place. And again, the other pairs. Why are they not celebrating the concept? Hell, taking this a step further, Latios and Latias are shown in the opening to Ruby and Sapphire, and their remakes, and are given focus in said remakes too. If no one else, shouldn't they be the mascots of Gen 3? And that's it. This has been Looking Too Deep When the Curtains Are Literally Just Blue, the countdown. You stretched so much to try and find something that these Pokemon seemingly needed to have, when in all actuality, all they needed to be in order to be good Pika clones is, well, to be good. Not to say the least of calling them all mascots when, even being generous towards this list, 3 of your 5 choices easily are not, and the 2 ought to be stretching to call either a mascot or a contender for this list altogether. They're not mascots, they're clones of a mascot. The closest I can even fathom for calling these Pokemon mascots would be the fact that every generation has something that looks like a Pikachu. But then we might as well call the first rodents and first birds of each generation a mascot. Can't wait for your top 6 Pokemon rodents to hear you call Bidoof a mascot.
Number 5. Hats. Why are they so expensive? Why must they be so hard to get? Why do Valve keep focusing on hats and never on making new weapons often, or even fixing those weapons for that matter?
Since when did hats affect the actual gameplay experience of TF2?
Why do people think that hats is what TF2 is all about? It's not about hats. TF2 is about the classes, the weapons, the maps they fight on. But no, all these people care about is those stupid, overpriced virtual hats.
Also, compared to far bigger flaws with the game industry, this is just nitpicking.
Well, then it's a good thing it's only number 5 on this list.
Mass Effect 3, Capcom acting greedy with DLC to the point of locking content and making unnecessary new versions of games in like about 5 months, and Activision making a new COD game every year, leaving no room for innovation, are all far more bigger problems than Valve just trying to make a bunch of hats.
Okay, seriously though, while hats may be a nice addition to this game, but most of them are just hard to get and also expensive. Why must some hats, especially new ones, cost $10? That's too much! How about $5 or $7? That's probably enough.
I don't know about you, but $10 really doesn't sound like too much for me when it comes to virtual hats.
So it's okay for Valve to charge us money for virtual hats that won't affect the gameplay at all? But when Capcom does it with actual characters, oh, they're money-grubbing whores now. What makes this even better is the term I'm about to present for this. Now do you see how overpriced the hats in TF2 are?
Also, if it wasn't for hats, I doubt TF2 would have been free to play.
You know, there are the packages that actually do come with Team Fortress 2. You know, the packages that if you pay, you can get extra items, extra maps, extra whatever you want. I'm pretty sure they can also thrive on that.
Also, the Halloween items. Okay, maybe it's not the fact that I can only wear Halloween items at certain times that bothers me, but it's the fact that I can't get them at all! Seriously, when they were first released in Halloween, you can get each of them for like $2. And I would have gotten them easily, but at the time, I couldn't get any money into my Steam wallet. And then it was too late.
Wait, I thought you said earlier that hats don't matter to you. Now you're complaining about Halloween items that are pretty much the same thing?
He said that hats didn't matter as far as playing the game was concerned. He still likes them, and he still would wear them. It's just that they're talked about too much, and that they are overpriced. And as for the Halloween costumes, he was complaining that they are only available at one time of the year and can only be used as such.
Number 4. Getting strange stuff. The only way you can get a strange weapon or a strange part is that you have to get them from Manco Crate, which can only be opened with a key that costs $2.49.
Well, you can also trade those same items with friends online. Oh wait, I forgot, you're too antisocial to have any friends.
Now, if you're watching the original video, at this point, a clip of Michael Dragon 800 raging at a particular Team Fortress 2 round would be here. Yeah, I'm skipping that because while it does relate to Michael Dragon 800 and Team Fortress 2, it doesn't relate to the actual topic at hand. Not to mention, I'm also skipping the rest of this point because until number 3, the only point he makes is not repeating myself.
Number 3. Dust Bowl. Okay, I'm gonna say it right now. I hate Dust Bowl sometimes, and I think it's one of the worst TF2 maps I've ever played. Mainly because of one major flaw with this map. The timer.
Who the fuck are you to tell Valve what to do? Also, I don't see anyone else complaining about Dust Bowl. At least not for that reason. And if you don't like the map, then don't fucking play it. It's not like as if it's the only map you can play in Team Fortress 2.
Okay, I have 3 points I want to make here. First point, you're not always going to be able to choose which map you're going to be on in Team Fortress 2. Oftentimes, you're going to be randomly assigned to a map, and that map could probably be Dust Bowl. Point number 2, people sometimes complain about the timer. However, the point they mostly complain about is that it's too broken of a stage. I mean, sentries get to abuse the stage like all hell, and the stage itself is defense-oriented, so there you go. There's reasons why people actually don't like it. Oh, and number 3, how dare he criticize Valve? I mean, how dare he tries to point out flaws in a game that people like?
Number 2, Payload Race.
And that's all you need to know. Now on to Guri's point.
Well, what about the people out there that enjoy Payload Race? How would they feel if their favorite game mode got an unnecessary gameplay change because one certain retard nitpicked it and forced Valve to change it for his selfish desires?
That point would have more ground if not for two things. One, Valve constantly wants to hear feedback from the people who play their games. They want to see how they can improve so that when they do, everyone will like the game better. And number 2, it's not just Michael Dragon 800 that dislikes payload races. A lot of people do. I really don't like it myself. So maybe they could modify it. Maybe they could make a second payload race and then have the audience, have the people who play the game, test them out and see which one they like better. What, were you too busy fantasizing over the fact that you're doing a commentary on Michael Dragon 800 and that might get you a ton of views to realize that you're not making any good points?
Number 1. Do you want to know what's the worst thing about Team Fortress 2? I'll give you a hint. It involves team balancing. As you see, there are 2 ways for teams to be balanced. First, there's Team Scramble, where if one team is uneven or unbalanced, well, after a round ends and then starts a new one, teams will be scrambled so both teams can be fair now. Okay, at least this way of team balancing is fair. But then there's Auto Balance. Out of all the worst things that can happen in TF2, Auto Balancing is the worst possible thing!
Yeah, rarity called.
Point joke, skip!
You know, there are servers on TF2 that have auto-balancing disabled, so it's really the particular server's host's fault for not disabling it, not Valve's.
Valve's still partially at fault because auto-balancing is still an option. Oh, the host may be able to disable it for that server, but you're not always going to be able to choose the server that you're going to be on, and thus auto-balancing is still an issue.
And hopefully Valve will fix those flaws so it will never bother us again. That is if Valve isn't too lazy to fix those problems and not focus too much on hacks. See you next time, everyone.
And that's
Point joke, skip! Oh wait, that's the end. I can't tell what's more sad. The fact that you had to end your commentary off with a My Little Pony clip, the fact that the My Little Pony clip was not funny, or the fact that the My Little Pony clip was more irrelevant than the Michael Dragon 800 Team Fortress 2 clip that you had presented earlier. In fact, that's a perfect way to describe your commentary. Irrelevant shit and unfunny jokes.
Hey guys, welcome to another commentary. Now, today's commentary is actually a surprising twist for me because I'm actually going to be commenting on one of the 2 people that inspired me to do commentaries, and that is none other than Shatsilson11.
You know what would have made that twist more surprising? If you didn't give it away earlier.
Here's the thing about action games. If they're not committed to having amazing action, nothing else really matters.
Sorry, but by the way you just said that statement, you're implying that your standard for action games means it has to be either amazing or nothing. No.
Okay, when did he even said that?
Hey, do you remember this part?
Here's the thing about action games. If they're not committed to having amazing action, nothing else really matters.
Yeah, me neither.
Juliet Starling is the stereotypical popular high school cheerleader character, but she also really sucks.
Was he trying to make a point or an intentional pun? You decide.
1 second later...
She's as annoying as she is stupid, and because she has a body Barbie would kill for, everyone, including the undead, wants to get into her short skirt.
There you go. Like 1 second after you made your statement, he was pretty much saying that Juliet is not really well developed. If there's more character development with her, then she'll be a likable character.
Except he never said that. All he said was Juliet was hot, annoying, and stupid. You know, I'm just loving the fact that you're doing a commentary on a commentary on IGN, and yet what IGN is saying is completely countering your points.
Lollipop has the same issues as Shadows of the Damned and No More Heroes before it. Everything around the game is great, and playing it is kind of painful.
Wait, what? Did he just say No More Heroes was painful to play? Yeah, he did. Okay then, Mitch.
He didn't say it was painful. He said it's kind of painful, meaning that it's not painful all the time.
No, it just means that it's not going to be as painful as it could be. Besides, he technically did say it was painful. Granted, it would be a lesser kind of painful, but it's still painful. How bad of a commentator do you have to be to have the people you're trying to, in a sense, defend counter you?
Not because it's fully bad, but because it's so content to do absolutely nothing new.
What?
Hooray for an overused media clip. I mean, seriously, dude, get a different media clip other than the Bill and Ted overdone one.
What if the clip you used in place of the Bill and Ted clip was overused? What would happen then?
Are you kidding me? Does nothing new? This is coming from a website that basically kisses ass to games like Call of Duty and Gears of War, which are about as unoriginal as they come, yet they want to say it's Lollipop Chainsaw that doesn't do anything new?
Okay, Call of Duty, you got me there. But as for Gears of War, they do some things different, like with different weapons and stuff like that.
Call of Duty has different weapons in each game. What's your point?
And not only that, but this was from the developer of No More Heroes, and they were kind of expecting him to do something new. But instead, it's just a cookie cutter of a generic action game.
His point wasn't that Lollipop Chainsaw wasn't a generic game, but that it was criticized as one, and yet Call of Duty and Gears of War were apparently given a free pass. Damn, you're taking these points more out of context than he is.
Minigames are, more often than not, just annoying diversions disguised as escort missions or pointless fetch quests.
Well, at least the game is trying to add variety to its gameplay by breaking up the moments of zombie killing with different minigames. And is he going to say why these sections are bad?
Okay, he said it like legitimately a second prior to your statement.
Minigames are, more often than not, just annoying diversions disguised as escort missions or pointless fetch quests.
I rest my case.
You know, I feel like I've seen that counterpoint before. Oh, wait.
He just said why these sections are bad.
Minigames are, more often than not, just annoying diversions disguised as escort missions or pointless fetch quests.
Yeah, I think everything has been explained here.
I can't even say that this is just coincidence. You've commented on that video before, so there's no excuse.
The only negative they listed to do with gameplay was uninspired action. Really? That's the best you can come up with?
True, the gameplay is a huge aspect of the game, but however, there are other aspects that can make or break it, such as the level design, the graphics, music, etc.
But he wasn't talking about any of those. He was just talking about the gameplay. Someone sure does have selective hearing. And that's where I'll end the video. Ultimately, Four-Wheeler, the points that didn't sound like they came from Super Charmander, and heck, even some that did, fell flat on their faces. I could forgive this a little more if you were entertaining at all, but you didn't. It doesn't even sound like you tried to make a joke. Give Charmander some credit, at least he tried. Oh, and one more thing. Why was this guy like that all?
Oh wow, an intro that consists of locales. Yeah, like I haven't seen that done to death. But I'll give him props for one thing. At least he used music from Dark Knight Rises, and that was a great movie.
It shouldn't matter whether or not you like The Dark Knight Rises. Dark Master Rises is trying to use quote-unquote epic music to, in a sense, distract from the fact that his intro is full of old topics and tropes that he keeps on falling for.
What's up, bitches?
Well, fuck you too.
For ya. Today's commentary is going to be on Tough Funny Guy Show's commentary on Shatzel11's commentary. So, sit back, relax, and I hope you enjoyed the video.
Oh joy, it's gonna be one of those commentaries, huh?
You know, it would be easier for us to agree with you, or at least see where you're coming from, if we knew what you meant by quote-unquote one of those commentaries.
Well, luckily I got Sony Vegas, so I'll only cut the parts of the video I want to commentate on.
You've already shown us your expertise with skipping when you skipped Dark Master Rises' intro. No, wait, that was me.
Hey everybody! Look at this amazing distraction for this bland and unoriginal intro. In all seriousness though, we are off to a bad start.
As much as I hate dubstep music, I mostly like to listen to stuff like Stone Temple Pilots, Stone Sour, AC/DC, Metallica, Lamb of God, Leonard Skinner, and a whole lot of awesome rock songs. But still, your intro is more generic than his. I mean, seriously, an intro that consists of nothing but lolcows?
Good for you for pointing out the main flaw with Dark Master Rises' intro. But here's the thing. What was with the need to list out all the music that you like? It's like your thoughts on The Dark Knight Rises. They added nothing to the commentary and could have easily been taken out.
Ah, yes, a Windows Movie Maker intro. How bland and stupid. Isn't there anything original these days?
I found it funny how you bitch about his intro for being bland and unoriginal, but your intro is just as bland, if not blander, than your intro.
But your intro is just as bland, if not blander, than your intro. Someone forgot to review the script.
Not to mention, this is a one-shot commentary. What did you expect?
Yeah, I believe I already talked about how I think your intro is bland as all as a motherfucker, so moving on.
It's great and all that you understand not to repeat points, but why don't you skip here? You knew that this point was covered already, so you could have saved your audience about half a minute at least of time. Yeah, you're doing a real good job skipping there. As for Dark Master Rises, the Funny Guy Show had something in his intro that made his stand out among a lot of others. Dubstep music. I don't care if you like it or not. Pretty much no one else uses it in this community. So, it's safe to assume that the Funny Guy Show has a lot more reason to criticize Setso 711's intro for being unoriginal than you or Fourier do to criticizing each other's.
Okay, stop. All you're doing throughout this commentary is just skipping most of Junior Fan's points. So what's the point of even making this commentary?
If you actually watch the commentary, SassPD22 is making points. Sass isn't just skipping, he's also making valid points.
Well, you are right to some extent. Why SassPD22 did make some good points, but most of the commentary is just him skipping most of Junior Fan's points. And what's the point of making a commentary if you're just going to skip most of his points? Unless it's a multi-shot commentary, then I can understand.
I skip a lot of my commentaries, yet before you closed your account, you subbed to me, so I don't see the big difference.
What Sass likes to do most of the time when his commentaries is that he makes his point and skips the rest of it. That's just the guy's shtick.
Except, Sass is not the only one that skips in their commentaries. Akroloff2150, TOG Professor, and hell, even myself. We'll skip portions of the video we're commentating on, so to call it something that's more or less unique to Sass is simply not true.
What are you trying to prove?
Come on, you keep dragging on your points and stuff.
Oh, he drags on his points for too long. Well, sorry to disappoint, but different commentators have different styles, and that's just Junior Fan's way of doing commentaries.
Making points way too long could get boring and sometimes repetitive. If you want some examples of them, look up Morgan Hedge Lioness XS's commentary on the Sonic Mew, or any bad commentaries that has point that are dragged way too long.
Sure, Junior Fan drags on his points, but at least he keeps his points entertaining, unlike some people.
What Setso 711 says right after this point. If Foiler didn't skip it.
He does it mostly for entertainment value.
Oh, you unoriginal piece of shit.
But that's the very thing. Junior Fan didn't do it in an entertaining way. He just dragged on in a very slow and monotone voice. If he wants to drag on his points, then oh well, go ahead, do it. But at least try to make it entertaining and not in such as a monotone voice.
You know, after so many degrees of commentaries, one will get the idea that not everyone has the same opinion, that not everyone will find the same thing entertaining. But nope, we still have multiple degrees of people going, Junior Fan isn't entertaining, or Junior Fan is entertaining. Any party that wants to argue that at this point, shut the fuck up. I personally don't care if you think Junior Fan is entertaining or not. Here's the thing, we don't need multiple degrees of commentators to decide on whether or not Junior Fan is an entertaining commentator.
And also, I find it rich that you saying that whoever's the best YouTube commentator is down to personal opinion, and then you bluntly go and say that Junior Fan's style of commentary sucks. Yeah, way to contradict yourself there, buddy.
You mean hypocrisy? Yeah, I know I'm nitpicking, but still.
Hypocrisy? You meant hypocrisy? Wow, I smell a frickin' idiot at the door.
Oh, big whoopie motherfucking do. He mispronunciate hypocrisy. Who cares? It's not like you could have thrown out a point saying that he wasn't being a hypocrite.
Except that's not what the Funny Guy Show was trying to say. He was trying to say, hey, this is hypocrisy, not a contradiction. Granted, in context, hypocrisy and contradiction could be interchangeable, but that's besides the point. Again, back to Dark Master Rises, I don't think you'll want to talk about calling someone an idiot because they mispronounced a word. Remember this sentence? Oh, you don't think that's enough? Okay, here's something else. Here we go. Wait a minute. Zoom in a little. There we go. You misspelled bronies in your thumbnail. Keep in mind, you can edit your thumbnail, but you didn't. You kept your 2N brony card up. Yeah, and to Funny Guy Show's the idiot here.
I'm going to give my final thoughts here. The commentary sucks.
Oh, the irony. Seriously, dude, you should probably take a good look inside your mirror next time, alright?
Look inside your mirror. You're really bad with your mirror analogies.
Anyways, I'll wait for you guys to say, have you looked in the mirror lately?
You make this too easy.
And I'll see you guys next time, and I can't wait to turn 21 next week. Oh, great. A kid with a slow and monotone voice feeding an obvious troll.
Normally, if you were to ask me what the standout word in a sentence would be, it would probably be troll. Not in this case. In this case, it's kid. Four-wheeler, I know you don't make good commentaries, but come on. I thought you and Justin were smarter than this. Lastly, knowing that these two use both Fox and Falco, one would probably expect me to use Wolf in this commentary. No, I'm not. I'm not that predictable. They are using furry characters, though, so the call's okay. Also, he mentioned trolls, so...
One last thing, he is a troll, and he's doing this to people like you to get a reaction to get from you.
Now, let's face it, the Game Boy wasn't that good of a system. The only people who really like it are the kiddies who are like, whoa, I can play Pokemon and other games.
So the people who got a Game Boy play kiddie games? Wow, what a failure, broken record you sound.
Well, if he said that over and over and over again, then yeah, he'll be considered as a broken record, but however, he only said that one time in this entire video.
He could just be referring to Gligar in general.
But in the end, it made you sound like a pseudo-intellectual like Grontage.
Today, I'm going to talk about Super Mario Land, and my god, this game hasn't aged very well. I mean, this game just doesn't play that good, it's not fun.
In my opinion, I actually like the game. I played it on the emulator on the Game Boy on my computer, and it was really good. But guess what? There are games on the Game Boy that are pretty much better than Super Mario Land. Like the second Super Mario Land game as an example.
This is my opinion. This is my opinion. Look, dumbass, you don't have to say, this is my opinion, or for it to be an opinion. Video game reviewers like Angry Video Game Nerd, Angry Joe, IGN, GameSpot, etc. state their opinions after their facts to make their points seem stronger.
Except they're not trying to state their opinions as facts. They're just not always stating, in my opinion. Besides, what's so wrong with the kid saying it's in his opinion? At least he acknowledges that there are different opinions in this world.
Gligar here is just giving away his opinion on the game, even though he is trolling.
He is a troll.
Up over it.
And The only thing that people really care about is the music because it's Mario, and the people like Mario would rather listen to Mario for 14 hours on their iPod than listen to actual music.
So all people do is actually hear the Mario music in like an hour? Well, yeah, says the guy who makes shitty reviews.
What the hell does this have to do with the music? By the way, there is a limit to how much you want to kill yourself for listening to the exact same music.
Well, of course there has to be a limit to the number of times you have to kill yourself. I mean, you only have one life. I mean, it's really silly if you have to kill yourself twice. Unless that's not what you're trying to say, in which case I would suggest re-recording before publishing.
So let's talk about the game. First off, one thing I'd like to mention is I did not use any emulators. I used a real Game Boy player for this, so you can't really pull. So if you're going to comment with a comment saying, you used an emulator, you can choose it bad because of that. You can't really use that because I was using this on a real GameCube. So anyways, let's talk about the gameplay. The controls are horrible.
The overly cliche record scratch sound effect. Kind of reminds me of my days as a commentary fag.
Well, is there anything else wrong with the record scratch other than being cliched? Are you gonna bring anything up to prove me wrong? No? No? Okay, fuck you too.
Are you serious? You're gonna bitch and moan about the controls? Dude, I never have any problem with the controls at all. Not at all. Besides, many people who played the game didn't have any problem with the controls.
Well, if you want my experience with Super Mario Land, I downloaded it for the Virtual Console on my 3DS, and I do have to agree with Gligar. The controls are really stiff. He also stops dead in his tracks, and he doesn't gain any momentum like he did on the NES.
The controls, well, the jump controls are not slippery at all. Every time I jump, I never had the problem with the jump button. Jeez, is it just me, or do you suck at every single game you have reviewed?
Refer to one of our earlier statements, please.
I know we've talked about the controls of the game before, but which comment are you referring to? The first comment you've made on him? The last comment? Any of the comments in the middle? You're so big on this, I'm just gonna assume you're talking about the record scratch.
Also, earlier in the video, you said that you played it on an emulator. Gligar is playing it on a GameCube player. Those controls are completely different.
Hey, you know, Justin made a comment about playing this game on the Virtual Console for the 3DS. So why not call out your own partner on the same shit you're calling the kid out on?
They are just slippery. The graphics, well, they look like even worse than Super Mario on the NES. Now I know this was an original Game Boy title.
And the graphics in my opinion, weren't shit at all.
You may think Screw Attack is right, but I don't.
Thanks for the little flashbacks there, fucker. And this is why I like the Sega Game Gear better than the Game Boy. Because the graphics were colorful. It looked like I was playing on a Sega Genesis instead of a handheld.
A gaming system with significantly more power than a handheld has better graphics than a handheld? Wow, I never would have guessed!
But still, the game just doesn't look that great. I mean,
good job using white text with a gray background so people can barely even see it.
At least he specified which comment to refer to.
The person who made this later developed the Virtual Boy, and then the Wonder Swan, which was basically another monochrome handheld based off some similar principles, which had a really shitty sound system and had a ton of Japan.
That part right there where you just got killed by a Goomba, pretty...
Kid, get away from the microphone.
Justin, have some manners. Don't interrupt the kid while he's talking, please.
Has a perfect proof why you suck at games so much. And I would have died laughing to see you die by getting hit by that Goomba.
Whoa! You want him to die in real life all because he's criticizing a game that you like?
Technically, no, he's not. Technically, he's just saying, if Glider were to die from a Goomba, he would die from laughter.
You sadist!
Gligar 13 Bits is the devil for hating games that we like.
Remember that rant on Big CN Fan that you made a few months back where you kept on calling him a tryhard? No? Me neither.
Games, but that's another topic. Let's just say that the Game Boy wasn't that good of a system in the first place anyway.
You know what system console that sucks? Xbox 360!
The punchline is that they're playing Xbox 360 games. Why did I spoil the punchline now? Because it takes them 2 fucking minutes to get to it. You do not spend 2 fucking minutes on a joke that isn't that funny. Why did you make the joke? Because the kid made a comment about not liking the 360. This entire joke was not needed, too long, and the joke doesn't even work to begin with. The game's a multi-platform.
And you know the worst part about this game? It's just cheap. With the wonky collision detection, the controls being trash, and the fact that it's just not fun at all. I mean, all you do is you just run through stages and rescue the princess, supposedly.
Why did you die on purpose again?
Wait a minute. Earlier in the video, you said that he hates the game all because he sucks at it. And now you're saying that he died on purpose. Kid, can you please make up your mind?
Here's the thing. It's not a contradiction to say someone died on purpose, yet sucked at the game. Please, for the love of God, get a dictionary.
Speaking of doing it on purpose, that's Gligar's gimmick. He's getting a rise out of you.
And he's doing it so people like you to get reaction to get from you.
All in all, let this game sit for $6 in a bargain bin and go play better games. Or better yet, don't play Game Boy at all. Go play like a better portable like PSP.
Fuck you. I'm not gonna listen to you. Nobody's gonna listen to you because you're the one who makes shitty reviews. Besides, yes, I do play PSP, but I play the Game Boy Elevator on my computer. Sorry for mispronouncing that one word, but dang, God, you got to be one of the worst users on the entire world. Well, Mars the Plumber, in my opinion, is still worse than this douchebag.
Speaking of Mario the Plumber, why the fuck did you subscribe to Mario the Plumber? Mario the Plumber is the worst user on YouTube, and you subscribe to him? What the fuck? No, I'm unsubscribing you for that shit. Best comment I ever got.
Well, that's kind of depressing if your best comment comes from a kid. Also, that comment's nothing. I got comments like this. Your argument isn't valid.
Like the plague, and spend your money on better games. Heard BioShock Infinite's coming out in a few months, and that game looks good. But then again, people would rather complain about pointless stuff like, games on my system isn't, it's coming out on other systems than the Wii U. Wow, this is stupid. If you're one of those people, like the plague, and spend your money on better games.
Am I having deja vu here? Why is Gligar's video repeating?
Yes, that is his video, not mine. I had nothing to do with that. Dude, your editing is utter shit.
Look at Four-Wheeler, expecting kids half his age to be complete editing masters.
And you basically just die on purpose like a bitch. And you told us to subscribe you for more? Well, how about this? How about no, you surface asshole, butthurt, dumb ass bitch.
Again, unnecessary insults for the loss.
And I can easily say that you're a butthurt crybaby bitch all because you were feeding a troll. He was criticizing a game that you like.
Four-Wheeler, let me tell you the main reason why people have a negative opinion on commentaries and kids. It's because you do shit like this.
It made you sound like a pseudo-intellectual like Grontage.
What, dumbass? You're a butthurt crybaby bitch.
And the worst part is that this comes from people who are twice the age of the kid. Because, you know, that's really setting a good example for everyone out there.
Your reviews are shit. That's why you don't have that many subscribers of yours.
Last I checked, Gliker has over 900 subscribers.
Not only that, he's also a YouTube partner.
Unless Rawgasm's 300 subscribers count as popular, I don't think you need to be popular to be a YouTube partner.
Now for my thoughts. Kid, I would be very happy to congratulate you for successfully feeding an obvious troll.
I don't understand how people like you get fools the leader about this guy.
And that's the end of the video. Justin, I thought you were better than this. I thought you knew better than to commentate on a kid. What, did Four-Wheeler just come up to you and say, "Hey, I'm doing a commentary, want to join?" and you just couldn't refuse? And Four-Wheeler, I can easily say that this was one of the worst commentaries I've ever seen. Let alone one of the worst I've seen from you. Seriously, at this point, I don't know how you can get any lower, Four-Wheeler. I'm just done with you.
Hey! Hi. How you doing? This is the Gamertron, and welcome to the Gamertron Show. So, let's get this out of the way right now. You've read the title of this video. Our video game top 10s, top 5, our video game countdowns, dying.
No. Wait, what do you mean there's 12 more minutes of this shit?
Because I'm noticing a severe lack of YouTube video content creators creating top 10, top 5 lists, counting down their favorite or least favorite or something from video games. The only ones that seem to do it nowadays are every once in a while from Machinima, every once in a while from Smosh Games, and all the bloody time from Watch Mojo.
Smosh Games and Machinima are channels where countdowns are a side project, if anything, and all three are groups of people who make videos, not just one guy or two. Watch Mojo in particular are user voted lists, making them especially poor comparisons to what you're comparing them to.
I've been noticing less and less top 10 countdowns of the same ilk as Josh Scorcher's The Fiery Joker's countdowns.
See what I mean? Josh Scorcher is one guy. One guy with an editor, but one guy making the calls at the end of the day. Josh is not multiple people. Unless he's not telling you something, but that's a query for another day.
As the Artark of Flames countdowns. As Fawful Minions countdowns, as Media Masters countdowns, as Rabbit Luigi's countdowns. And a majority of them themselves, excluding Rabbit Luigi, haven't been uploading any top 10 countdowns at all.
It's funny that you say that when, about 2 months before your video, Fawful's Minion did an entire month of countdowns about the Mario and Luigi games. Or how about Josh's own countdown 2 months back? Or giving an example from someone you didn't mention, the Quarter Guy, who uploads countdowns monthly. The countdown community is not as barren as you're making it out to be, especially when your examples were only the really popular ones. Now, I get it. You want to use popular examples when debating because it helps familiarize your audience with what you're talking about. But if the lesser known examples help to disprove your point, that doesn't make you a good debater. And before you say there are none, Mr. 12603, Kitsune Hawk, Obsidious Fan, Master Jake Studios, The Philosopher, Korea Wave, hell, even Meta527 the second. I know Meta's the shit end of the stick, but goddamn if he didn't count. Point is, you suck at examples. Get good. And going back to the release date, you uploaded this at the beginning of May, around the time most students would be preparing for finals. Of course the community would be barren. They're too busy trying to make it somewhere in life.
If anything, I feel like I'm one of the very few who still upload top 10 video game countdowns and top 5 video game countdowns.
And look how well that turned out.
And not just that, I'm getting less views on them. Before, they were my most popular, most viewed videos.
For the most part, they still are. You're just getting less views altogether. Fuck if I know why, though I have some ideas. But your countdowns aren't the only videos suffering from a lack of views.
I don't know if that's YouTube's bad advertising. I don't know if that's the videos not making it into sub boxes because, you know, YouTube. Or if it's the more scary possibility
that your videos are crap and people are starting to realize that?
Do people just not want to see, or at least a majority of people, not want to watch or see or hear top 10 video game countdowns?
No, it can't be my fault. That's crazy talk.
Made by Smosh or Watch Mojo? I mean, it really does seem like Watch Mojo has become the king of top 10s and top 5s. Like, if you're looking for the latest and greatest top 10s and top 5s, you go to Watch Mojo.
Well, to be fair, Watch Mojo is a website that uploads at least one countdown daily. Quality is a different matter, sure, but they must be doing something right if they got over 7 million subscribers.
Now, that could just be viewership, that could just be viewers, and popular opinion just swaying to, it's either Watch Mojo, Swatch, or Machinima, or nothing else. Or it could just be the very valid and possible possibility that YouTube is being a bitch. YouTube has a habit of poorly marketing and advertising videos to the people who most likely want to see these videos. I know, I'm sure for a fact that there are a ton of people, a ton of viewers, who watched other people's countdowns similar to mine, whom I was inspired from, and I'm sure they would get a kick out of my countdowns, hearing my opinion, seeing my top 10s.
YouTube isn't working right because I'm not super popular. That's the vibe I'm getting. Of course, I could be wrong.
But YouTube doesn't advertise to them, because the YouTube video advertising system is near useless. I could have so many more subscribers, I could have so many more views, I could make so much more gosh darn money.
Great googly moogly, it's all gone to shit.
Yeah, at this point it's just become a rant about why am I not getting views? Notice me, Senpai, I only have $7! And if this wasn't the intent of your rant, you bringing up earning money does not help convince me otherwise.
So again, this could all be a tribute to technical issues. Maybe YouTube is just poorly advertising the video game content creators out there who are making top 10 countdowns, and I'm just not finding or seeing them because YouTube's being an ass. Or, again, it could be viewership. Are you guys watching my videos subscribe to me? Those of you who subscribe to me solely because they like my video game countdowns, my top 5s and my top 10s, are you guys just losing interest in them? Is that what's going on here? Again, I don't know. But I can tell you, from a personal perspective, from my perspective, I love video game top 10s and top 5s, and I constantly search and scour YouTube for up-and-coming content creators who want to share their opinions on video games they love, or dislike, or a unique opinion on.
Any examples? Any names you want to drop? Maybe promote while we're here? No, of course not. YouTube won't promote anyone, and I can't be bothered to look up anyone myself, because fuck you.
Because video games are awesome, they deserve to be talked about. And yes, I understand the argument, I get the argument that it is kind of silly to always put video games in a numerical order.
If Watch Mojo can get 7 million subscribers from doing countdowns, I don't believe it's as silly as you say other people say it is.
The fun at looking at a bunch of video games and ranking them, looking at them both objectively, subjectively, looking at your personal opinion, and also looking at the facts, weighing them together, looking at one video game, comparing it to the other, and going, this video game does this and this, but this video game also does this and this. Which one is better? Which one do I like more?
Jumping in volume is really good editing, right guys? It's the way of the future!
That's an interesting thing to debate, that's an interesting thing to talk about, and I love it when different people provide their different opinions on it. I make top 10s and top 5 video game countdowns because I love video games and I want to share my love of video games with everybody, because I want to show you guys my personal opinion, my personal favorites. Or not so favorites. I want to give you guys my perspective, my view on things. And I want other people to do the same. So please, if you like top 10 countdown videos and you're inspired to make them yourself, do it. It's what I did. There are views, and there is more importantly fun to be had in making these sorts of videos.
But more importantly, money!
However, I do understand the crappy territory that also comes with making top 10 and top 5 countdown videos, and that's these really either ignorant people, arrogant people, or just plain out jackasses and assholes who leave these sorts of comments. Where is this in this game? Oh, this game should be on the list. Oh, that game or that character is number 1? You don't know what you're talking about. You're not a gamer. Oh god, those sorts of comments make me want to do some very violent and say some very violent things.
I am hoping the video game footage you are showing does not reflect what you do to these people. Otherwise, I feel like I have to worry.
Don't understand that when someone makes a top 10 list or a top 5 list, that they're not counting down the best. At least with my countdown videos, I'm never counting down the best. I'm counting down my favorites, from my personal opinion. And for some silly reason, some people assume I'm counting down the objective best of, which is silly. But then you have the entitled pricks who think that their opinion is the only opinion, and if your opinion from video games differs from them, they will shower you with hate and stupidity.
What about people who get upset because you provide shit reasons for your opinions, not because of the opinions themselves? I'm just saying it could happen, and in your case it has happened.
Especially when it comes to video games. I get it. It can be rough. It can be intimidating. But getting your opinion out there, having the fun of making the video, having the fun of actually categorizing this, thinking to yourself, working with yourself to come up with an answer for yourself of what is your favorite of something from video games.
Do you necessarily need to make a countdown in order to express your opinions, though? There are other outlets with which one can express an opinion, such as through a discussion video. Like this one. Just saying.
Counting them down and listing them off is just, it's fun, it's invigorating, it's satisfying, and I hope that this video reaches at least one person and inspires one person to follow their dreams, to follow their inspiration.
Yes, we should all listen to Gamertron's advice and follow our dreams. When you wish upon a star. Wait, wasn't this video about countdowns dying? Where the hell did follow your dreams come from?
And if some way, if some unbelievable alignment of events happen, and Josh Scorcher, the Artark of Flame, Rabid Luigi, the Green Scorpion, Media Man, Flawful's Minion, if any of the original Chaos Feeder countdown creators see this video,
you're welcome.
You are awesome. Your countdown videos were awesome. I saw the hard work you guys put into making those videos. I know the hard work of editing and recording for those videos.
Excuse me, you know the hard work? Really? You, the guy who stumbled over his own words and could edit in relevant footage for shit? Freaking Meta puts in more effort into editing than you.
And you inspired me to make my own countdowns. You inspired me to share my opinion and my favorites and my worst of, and just get my top 10s out there and my top 5s out there. And I hope you guys find it the time, you find the inspiration once again to make top 10s, to make more video game countdowns. And you newbies, you up-and-comer YouTubers and video creators, don't lose hope, don't lose passion. Share your opinion, share your top 10s and your top 5s. Because gosh darn it, we need more. Watch Mojo, Smosh, and Machinima can't have all the fun.
And they don't. We still have a very active countdown community. Sure, it's not the most popular community, let alone more popular than Watch Mojo, but plenty of people make countdowns regardless. I just don't think you do a very good job finding other channels.
If you guys liked the video in any way, shape, or form, if you enjoyed the gameplay, if you enjoyed the commentary, if you agree with me, please hit the like button.
Hit the like button because I like money!
Jeff, look at me. Okay, this is a dead cow that we found.
So, there's a whole bunch of dead cows sometimes.
They still found one. Your point?
If you guys are not going to leave it alone, let a pharmacist pick it up or something.
Judging by your last sentence, someone can only pick it up if the kids continue to throw rocks at the cow. Which class did you fail? English or logic?
Look at that. There goes a rock. This is animal brutality. Oh my goodness, animal brutality. It's getting stoned.
It's your problem.
Superb editing here, guys.
If you throw rocks at something, that's just ignorant.
Do you mean arrogant? If that's the case, I don't think the cow will mind. Because it's dead.
But you know why you deserve the lame comments? This video you made right here is very pointless and stupid and not nice. Okay. So, let's look at the description.
At this point, I want to take special mention to the date of the original video. Mr. Commentary. This was 6 years ago. No one should be doing a commentary on a video this old unless they're trying to be humorous. Instead, you're humorless, serious, and monotonous. And this is only the tip of the iceberg, people.
This video, these types of videos, like killing an animal or something like that, it can make someone angry.
But the cow wasn't killed in this video. It was already dead. Did you forget that part?
Why would you throw rocks at a dead cow? How would you like it if you guys were dead, if you guys were at a funeral home or something, you guys would be laying on the ground, people were throwing rocks at you. How would you like that?
Something in the back of my mind is telling me that they wouldn't mind too much. You know, because they would be dead.
Let's continue. Laughter? You serious?
Okay, that transition you just made sounded awkward. I can't tell if you're trying to insert a clip of them laughing, but forgot to do so, or if you realized that after 2.5 minutes of rambling, you had to move on.
You know, God made the animals, God made the trees, God made the sun.
Oh great, someone using religion as an argument when religion had nothing to do with the video. Let me put this in the nicest of terms for you. You're an idiot.
Oh my god, I just want to punch these kids right in the nozzle.
Does anyone else find it ironic that the first thing he mentions right after bringing up God into an argument is wanting to punch someone in the nose? Something that is very unchristian-like.
Leave animals alone. If you don't like animals so much, if you're throwing rocks at it, don't pet them, and don't touch them, don't throw rocks at it.
How do you know they hate animals, let alone cows? For all we know, they could adore cows, and the only reason they're throwing rocks at this cow is because this cow happens to be dead. Have you forgotten that this cow is dead?
Because obviously if the pharmacer...
What's a pharmacer?
Or officer comes and see you doing it, they will put you in handcuffs and take you into the police station.
Until the government passes a law that states that we can't eat roadkill for dinner, I don't think they're gonna handcuff you for throwing rocks at a dead cow.
Because you're too much of a pussy to look at the comments all the time. Obviously, I get these types of comments all the time. And do I cry about it and disable it? No.
You just put the video on private.
God created me and tried to make me more smart.
I think he put you here for a different reason. To be a low cow. Pun intended.
I hope you guys totally agree with me on this one, because if you do, please sub to me.
I think I can go on with my life knowing that I haven't subscribed to you, or vice versa. You know, just a thought.
Not this dude's videos, because he's totally a devil. He's not like wings, he's not like wearing wings, he's not wearing a ring around his head, he's not part of God.
You don't know that. He could very well have wings and a halo, the ring you're referring to. We just can't tell because he's too busy recording the cow getting stoned.
This is a commentary on Jeff the Tree.
I'm not kidding you people, that's literally how he ends his video, with his audio fading to nothing while the rest of the original video plays. And may I remind you that more than half of the original video actually plays after his closing thoughts.
Last April Fool's Day, I made my most recent video. Can I go to the bathroom? Shut up, TP! I made my most recent video on TamashiiHiroka, and it has since become my most viewed commentary. I kind of wish it wasn't. If only because the reason it's got as many views as it has is because it attracted Tamashii fans, many of whom are not willing to accept the fact they covered a YouTuber they liked and not judge the video based on actual quality. However, before shit really hit the fan, we had Blaze the Movie Fan, who did a commentary on that video. It really didn't contribute to my commentary's infamy, but it's there. Now if this intro skit didn't give you the hint, I'm not the first person to cover this video. I'm not even the second. Might not even be the third. However, I don't think that should really matter, as I can always bring up new points or add on to arguments previously made. Plus, Blaze himself has stated that despite knowing that his points are flawed, he still stands by them, and that alone should give this commentary enough validation. But in the case that it wasn't, I also went to Blaze the Movie Fan as well and brought up the idea of covering him, and he was actually in support of the idea. He even recently messaged me about it, asking if I was still going to do the commentary. So Blaze, thank you for your patience, here you go. Wow, you have quite a bit of information on the subject. Hey, why don't we go and he fucking ditched me? Yeah, screw you too. Or is it screw me too? Fuck, I'm confused.
Hey guys, what's up? This is my motherfucking bike.
I get one call back, guys.
Now let me assure you that I am not making this commentary because it happens to be on a commentary of someone I like. I mean, hell, I think MasterTP10's commentaries on Tamashii's video on overrated Pokemon and Mega Evolutions are fucking awesome. Because those two videos were very bad videos by Tamashii.
But my problem with this particular commentary is the fact that Tamashii's video on Pikachu clones isn't even a bad video.
And that matters how? I've covered videos in the past that I didn't think were all that bad. The Mike Johnson video I covered a year ago is a prime example of a video I thought was flawed, but not terrible. And it's even more noteworthy of an example when you remember that I also did a commentary on a commentary done on Mike's video. Were my points during those videos invalid then? That makes no logical sense. A point shouldn't stand or fall based on what you think of the original video, especially since opinions on a video can go either way. What about the people that thought Tamashii's list was bad? Is my commentary good because of those people? Hey, how about instead we just judge me? Thinking about it more, I don't know if I want that. And if I can snap back to reality for just a moment, part of the inspiration for the PSA I recently did was because of this comment. Was Blaze the Movie Fan the only person to do this? No, but if a primary problem for my video shouldn't logically be a problem in the first place, it doesn't say a lot about my video being as ugly as you want to make it out to be.
I seem to have an addiction to bad Pokemon countdowns, and I think I'll need to see a therapist someday.
Yeah, your therapist just called and told me to tell you that your problem isn't obsession with bad Pokemon countdowns. Your problem is your obsession with fucking Tamashii.
Wait, fucking Tamashii? Who are you? And who exactly did you call anyways? Of all the things to still be working.
Yeah, TP, you seem to have this really huge issue with wanting to have the sex with Tamashii. I kindly urge you to.
Hey, who are you?
I'm the therapist.
Well, this isn't your office.
Maybe you're lost?
Get out of here, faker!
Faker? I think you're the fake therapist around here. You comparing yourself to me? Ha! You're not even good enough
I'll
to
make
be
you eat
my
those words!
Oh.
And in every generation of Pokemon games, Game Freak has tried to capitalize on this by introducing a Pikachu clone to try to sell the new games.
When has a Pikachu clone ever been used to try and promote a new generation? Or at least enough to be considered an actual influence on why the generation got anywhere?
Well, in the Pokemon anime, at least one of the protagonists has a Pikachu clone. With an exception of Flurzel and Minion.
And Pichu. I'll still debate whether it deserves to be on the list, but the fact is, Pichu was still on Tamashii's list, and none of the main protagonists in the anime have ever owned a Pichu.
And the Pokemon anime is used to promote the games. That's probably what's in mind.
Yes, the anime promotes the games, but this doesn't make everything that relates to a main character a major selling point. And in regards to the anime, Pachirisu and Emoga were very easily overshadowed by almost every other Pokemon on either Dawn's or Iris' team. Notably Dawn's Piplup, Dawn's Mamoswine, Dawn's Baneri, Iris' Axew, Iris' Excadrill, and Iris' Dragonite. Of the Pikachu clones owned by a main character, the only one with any relevance might be Danzana, and that's only thanks to Bonnie carrying it around a la Piplup and Axew. And even that's debatable to actual relevance. Yet despite how little these Pika clones meant to the anime, the fact that Plus and Minum have even smaller roles than every other Pokemon on the list should indicate that either her number ones are missing something that would make them better mascots, or that she didn't consider the anime much for her list altogether. And given that the only segment it's ever brought up in was during Pichu's, I'm pretty positive that at least one of these is the case. And if somehow what you said was what she meant, she did a piss poor job at communicating that to her audience, so that would still be on her head. Your little hypothetical is worth less than what's left of my house.
So how well does each Pikachu look-alike represent its game? Today we're gonna rank all 5 of the Pikachu spawned and find out. But first, a little background on Pikachu.
This is filler. That's all this part is. This adds nothing in regards to what comes later. Even if it's just fun trivia, it wouldn't be nearly as egregious if you connected this to something else in the video other than, hey you, Pikachu!
This is nitpicking, plain and simple. Not everybody is a fucking expert on Pokemon like you or MasterTP10.
You're correct in saying that not everyone would know that Clefairy was initially going to be the face of Pokemon, but that's not what I was arguing. You don't need to be a Pokemon expert to identify that this could have been removed, and the remainder of Tamashii's list would have remained the exact same. Clefairy and how it was almost defranchised as mascot are never mentioned again for the rest of her list. The kicker? Outside of the term Pika clone or bringing up how Pichu evolves into it, neither is the Pokemon the video is named after. And nitpicking implies that was a small part of her video. Her little bit of trivia takes up 45 seconds out of her 7-minute video, when over 10% of her video was dedicated to something that had no relevance to the countdowns connected to. How is calling that out a nitpick? Maybe you could argue that the way it went about it made it seem like a bigger point than what it actually was, but A, you don't, B, I never brought it up in the original commentary past this point, and C, the other half of the interjection was spent more on a joke anyways, so what's your deal?
You have to keep in mind that Tamashii gets thousands of views on her videos. And there is a high chance that someone who isn't too familiar with Pokemon can stumble across her videos.
I mean, hell, I'm a huge Pokemon fan myself, and even I found that information to be very useful.
Yes, sir, I'd like to apply for a job here at Best Buy.
Well, Mr. 10, before we consider hiring you, let me ask you one question. What would you bring to the staff?
Hey, did you know that Pikachu was initially going to be Ash's starter?
Mr. 10, what kind of practical joke is this?
See, Mr. Employer, sir, I was told that Ash starting off with Clefairy was useful information.
In what land? Iceland?
Maybe. And that is why I'm banned from Utah. Thanks, Blaze! If you want to defeat my point, connect that entire bit of trivia to a later part of her video. Don't just cry out, it's useful, and call it a day. Useful information does not equate to relevant information. I can show something on screen about the capitals of every state in the US. That doesn't mean it has a place in a video about electric rodent Pokemon.
So certainly they could come up with something interesting for its mascot to really represent all these features, right?
Okay, I just have to stop you right there. Have you not read the definition of mascot? A person, animal, or object uses a symbol to represent a group, such as a sports team, and to bring good luck. That's how Merriam-Webster defines it. And with this in mind, how is Pachirisu a mascot? Pikachu? Yes. Even without the clones, it's one of the most iconic Pokemon out there. And, well, it's called a Pika clone for a reason. Pachirisu? Hell, pretty much every other Pika clone too. No, none are symbols or represent anything.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree that Tamashii does abuse the word mascot in this video. But here's the thing, that's the only problem that I hear with Tamashii's video.
Good for you, now here's my thing. Just because someone has more problems than what you had doesn't mean they should be discredited because they don't share your viewpoint on the same subject matter. It makes it sound less like I'm wrong because I'm factually incorrect, and more because I didn't conform to the same opinion as Tamashii. Excuse me, may I please get away with not being a communist? I'm already wearing red, what more do you want from me?
But I do see where she's coming from though. I think she should just refer to them as Pika clones, since that's obviously the more correct term.
In fairness to Tamashii, there are other ways to describe Pika clones. Electric rodents, regional critters, Pokemon. The issue with mascot in particular is that it's wrong by definition. And you agreed with that, thus agreeing with perhaps my biggest point in the commentary. So, why was my commentary bad again? Flawed? Sure, I can take that, nothing's perfect. But when you agree with my main point, something that also happened to be a part of Tamashii's criteria, I'm confused.
If she used the term Pika clone instead of mascot, there wouldn't be any problem with her video.
The first 10 seconds of her video would disagree.
Hey Pokemon fans, Tamashii here. But not everyone loves the yellow rodent.
I recall making a point there, and you never covered it. Thus, you've just implied that I was right then, and Tamashii's awkward statement was a problem. Not a video killer, but still a problem. Speaking of which, after this statement, you skip up until the end of the number 4 segment. I had interjections about the possible ideas that Pikachu represented, what else Gen 6 added, and other things that could be thought of to represent Fairy before Dantana. But that was cut off for some other shit I said. Yay?
Also, why does Pachirisu fail as a Pika clone when it's objectively one of the better ones, as evidenced by the footage of it winning the World Championship in 2014?
Just because someone manages to use a bad Pokemon to beat a big tournament doesn't mean it's not a bad Pokemon anymore. It just means that someone is able to use a bad Pokemon right.
My exact words were, one of the better ones. Whether or not Pachirisu was bad is irrelevant to my statement. That said, considering that Pachirisu was the backbone to a team that won a worldwide competitive championship, that indicates to me that it's either not bad, or it's still one of the better clones since no other Pika clone can boast about winning a VTC. In other words, either you're wrong or I'm still right. Pick your poison. I prefer the cherry flavored one, thank you very much.
You're arbitrarily throwing it under the bus because it doesn't have a gimmick.
Yes, she is, and she has a damn good reason too. And I'm sorry to say, but I actually agree with her. I also think that Pachirisu is the most forgettable Pikachu clone.
So is that damn good reason the fact that you also think that Pachirisu is the most forgettable Pika clone? If that's so, then I can just say that Plusle and Minum are the worst Pikachu clones, say that Pachirisu is actually best, and call it a day. I mean, that's how this shit works, right? Fuck, I've been doing my job wrong for years. Actually, wasn't I making a point there and you just cut that out?
Even if it still fails as one, remember this?
For the most part, these little guys don't tend to be too popular, since they're pretty redundant by design.
You're arbitrarily throwing it under the bus because it doesn't have a gimmick.
Yeah, way to remove part of why I made that statement just so you can interject with, I'm Tamashii, fuck you. Bearing in mind that Tamashii's own words devalued these Pokemon for the word go.
I guess if you really want to stretch it, Emolga's name in Japanese is Emanga, and Emon translates into garment or drape, which is a reference to the flaps on its arms, but it could also possibly reference the costumes your Pokemon get to wear in musicals, which are one of the worst parts of Generation 5.
Still something Gen 5 had, thus having something to follow your bullshit criteria.
Except she never said it absolutely is something that Emolga represents. She said that it's one of the possibilities.
Well, I can only take your statement with a grain of salt when you provide no other possibility and when Tamashii's only other offered possibility is it's black and it's white. While I'm here, I should have addressed this sooner. Excadrill is brown and gray, not black and white. How did you fuck that up? How did I fuck? Why exactly would Emolga not adding anything be a problem anyways? Considering that, by Tamashii's own volition, Gen 5 didn't focus on mechanics and focused more on breaking the mold, wouldn't Emolga adding little in regards to representing mechanics count towards it promoting its generation? That's ignoring how, by having a secondary type, Emolga actually contributes to breaking the mold, since previous Pika clones were pure electric. God damn it, what's with all these electric types and buses? This is not my OTP! Considering that you just skipped the majority of what I covered concerning Emolga and Dante, does that mean that I was right there too, or what?
This generation is only obtainable through breeding. Though I'm not much a fan of baby Pokemon, they were a clever way to introduce players to the new mechanic.
Excuse me, introduce? I'm sorry, but I don't care right now if you find Togepi or Togetic disappointing. If any Pokemon introduced the concept to players, it'd be the first egg you got. That's not Pichu, that's Togepi.
Except in the games, Pokemon Gold and Silver, you are given the Togepi directly as an egg. So the only thing that you actually learn about breeding is the fact that you have to walk a lot of fucking steps in order for an egg to hatch. Also, I remember back when Generation 2 was the current generation. And I can tell you that back then, Pichu was the most popular baby Pokemon. I mean, hell, it was more popular than Togepi. Thus, her point still stands.
Hey, I remember saying Pichu was the most popular baby Pokemon.
Sure, it's a pre-evolution, and ironically, it's the only Pokemon I see here as an actual mascot for being one of, if not the most popular baby Pokemon, but it's also related to Pikachu.
Yet, that was cut out when you made your commentary. Look, I understand removing portions of a video that you won't cover, but when one of the things you skip over tries arguing a point that you make, that's not being honest with your audience. And what you skipped was also me discussing why Pikachu shouldn't even be on Tamashii's list. Another major argument I had, again implying that you either didn't have an issue with it or had no way to counter my point, thus implying that she had another severe flaw with her list. So am I right? Then again, more popular or not, I said introducing the concept, which Pikachu does not. Even if Togepi doesn't count because it was already received as an egg, then getting 2 Pokemon to breed would introduce it, which is possible as soon as you reach the daycare center. May I add, the Pikachu line is not available by that point, or even before the Elite Four. The only exceptions to that are the Pokewalker for the remakes, and the egg you can receive at the daycare in Crystal, where one of the Pokemon it can hatch into is Pichu, but the latter only reinforces what Togepi taught, and both came after Gold and Silver, where breeding was first possible. Therefore, Tamashii's point is still no because you still need to stretch a lot to argue that Pichu introduced the concept. On top of Pichu not needing to be there in the first place, but that's besides the point.
And the number 1 Pikachu clones are Plusle and Minun.
Your number 1 are 2 Pokemon, for a grand total of 6 Pikachu clones on the list. Take out Pichu and not include Meryl, and you have a top 5. And if anyone tries to argue to Tamashii's praises for Plusle and Minun could be exactly the same and doing 2 separate segments would be redundant, I point to her top 10 worst gym leaders, where she did 1 segment covering multiple gym leaders, not once, but twice on that list.
But there is a huge difference between that video and the video that you're commenting on. You see those gym leaders on the other list? They have almost nothing in common, so it makes sense to have them as separate entries.
Did you even watch your gym leaders list?
Number 8, 7, and 6, Byron, Candace, and Volkner. So one of my biggest problems with Diamond and Pearl is that it's paced pretty poorly. It takes, I don't know, like 12 hours between your 3rd and 4th gym badges, and once you get your 4th, it's rapid fire badge after badge after badge until the end of the game. Which means the gyms towards the end of the game don't get a chance to stick out much. They're a complete blur to me, which is why I'm putting the 6th through 8th gyms of the game in basically the same spot.
Despite those 3 having different personalities and teams, all 3 were put in one segment, but not one spot. Here, we have multiple Pokemon in one segment, taking up one spot. Yet in both cases, each got the same segment for the same praises or criticisms. This isn't to say that Tamashii absolutely needed to specify which spot either would take. For the sake of consistency, they take 2 separate, albeit consecutive spots on her list.
With Plusle and Minun, it makes more sense that they are at the same entry, since they are for the most part the same fucking Pokemon with minor differences. And the differences are so minor that it wouldn't make sense if those 2 were in separate entries.
Not true. They may be very alike, but at the end of the day, Plusle and Minun are still 2 distinct Pokemon. There are still differences, so Tamashii can still have a preference to either one. She could slightly prefer Plusle to Minun, Minun to Plusle, or my preferred choice, kill both and make Delibird number 1.
Trend it!
With Helping Hand and their plus and minus abilities, Plusle and Minun tie everything about Ruby and Sapphire together in one cute package to sell to people.
I'm sorry, but if Plusle and Minun are there to tie up Gen 3 in one package, then Gen 3 must suck. Yes, they're there to promote the concept of double battles, but Gen 3 also had plenty of other duels that could do the concept, and better. For instance, Volby and Illumise, Latios and Latias, Solrock and Lunatone.
She never said that Plusle and Minun are great Pokemon to use in double battles.
But she did say they tie up the generation in one cute package. Let's think some lofty shit about 2 Pokemon that suck.
The point she was trying to make is the fact that Plusle and Minun were very popular back in the day. And since I do remember when the 3rd generation was the current generation, I can confirm that it is indeed accurate. Sure, they were never popular when it came to competitive playing, but design-wise, many people did like those 2 Pokemon, myself included. And I still like Plusle even to this day.
If we're supposed to take your unproven word to use it to back her up, I guess I could do the same for myself and be completely justified. I remember talking about Pokemon in grade school back when Generation 3 was the newest generation, and I remember hearing about Swampert and Rayquaza and Deoxys and not Plusle or Minun. But why should anyone take our word for how popular they were when Tamashii told us herself?
For the most part, these little guys don't tend to be too popular. since they're pretty redundant by design.
Even though she provided no proof herself, the person you are trying to prove right is going against your point. Somebody is wrong here, and it's either you or her. Take your pick.
Even the colors, Ruby and Sapphire. Unfortunately for a lot of people, it was just too different, with the bright palettes that could support a lot of different colors and the new gimmicks, so these mascots weren't very popular with a lot of people.
And personally, I believe Tamashii had the popularity more than you.
Oh, there's far more than just that. Nothing about how they're literally just Pikachu, but with red and blue instead of black? How about the fact that without double battles, they absolutely suck? Their abilities only work when the other's on the field, and without the other, they are weak and they can't do anything. At least the other duels don't need the other member to work in doubles. And that's even implying they'd actually work, since Plus-O and Minun are very susceptible to a very powerful and very common double battle move, Earthquake.
Look, MasterTP10, I know that you're very passionate about Pokemon competitive battling, but there is a time and place to talk about stuff like that.
I might have given this point some credence if you let the entire clip play first.
Even Pokemon who'd get plus or minus later on get this massive weakness too. And the fact that you need another Pokemon with this specific ability makes plus and minus extremely cancerous as abilities.
Then again, my original point was considering other reasons as to why Plus-O and Minun weren't popular. The competitive scene may not be the biggest venue Pokemon has, but it's still there. That's ignoring how Earthquake exists outside competitive play too. I'll grant you that I could have brought up something less specific and more general in order to sound less like a rub up on Smoggy way too much, but bringing up that Plus-O and Minun are weak to Earthquake is not just the competitive side of me talking. It's me stating a fact. But on the note of more general arguments, let's try bringing some up. Just gotta switch avatars for a second. There we go. Let's start with this. Well, most people want to pick up Plus-O or Minun over any other electric type in Hoenn. Ignoring that they already look like another electric type you can catch, the pure electric types are all faster and are part of their offenses and defenses at worst. The dual electric types have better defensive stats and typings, and all of them have better move pools. Yes, you can work with virtually any Pokemon during a playthrough, but that doesn't suddenly make them better options, just different. And I could throw that at the other Pikachu clones as well. That said, the other Pokemon in this content have other reasons for use as well. Emoga and Dandana have respective immunities to Ground and Dragon, Pikachu can evolve, and even Pachirisu has Super Fang, an attack that halves the HP of the opponent, and Pickup, an ability that can score you free items after a battle, with better items appearing the higher its level. Plus-O and Minun have only their double battle exclusive gimmick, and that would still require you to catch both. Also, ground types. Virtually any of them can beat Plus-O and Minun, since ground is immune to their electric attacks. And if you're fighting either one in-game, the only way they can damage a ground type is through normal type attacks, which didn't benefit from Plus or Minus in Gen 3. What hurts them even more is that one of your potential starters in Hoenn, the starter that's otherwise naturally weak to electric, can evolve into a ground type. So, even in spite of the abundance of ground types in the region already, you don't have to go out of your way to get one. It's right there.
And this is not the time to do that. Because Tamashii never said that Plus and Minun are great Pokemon competitively.
But she did mention before that Pachirisu won a world championship, so bringing up a mostly competitive situation really does not help her case. Neither does Tamashii having a history of looking at the competitive side of Pokemon, see her Mega Evolutions list. Also, Tamashii's point was bringing up only one reason as to why Plus-O and Minun were unpopular. One reason that I've heard no one really complain about. And once more, my point was bringing up more reasons, ones I've actually heard or had, as to avoid underselling their flaws. And if anyone wants to say she'd just be adding fluff if she added those points, well, it wouldn't be the first time in the video she did that, and unlike the first time, there's more relevance here than bringing up a Pokemon who was otherwise completely irrelevant to the video.
But I do still admire how committed to their concept they were. Game Freak really believed in the game they were making, and celebrated those games full out when designing Plus-O and Minun. So to me, they're the epitome of Pokemon mascots.
Even if we just considered Plus-O and Minun the best Pika clones, that's all they'd be. Pika clones.
Again, she never said they were great Pokemon competitively, thus making her point irrelevant.
Says the person trying to say I shouldn't talk competitively when the argument he cut away from was about how Plus-O and Minun weren't the mascots of Generation 3. Something I would have said even if they were competitively viable. Also, you want to claim that my point was irrelevant, yet you also want to defend the 45 seconds from the beginning that could have been taken out and changed nothing but the video's length. The thing that was worse than my alleged irrelevant point. And if I can go back to the original video one more time. Epitome of Pokemon mascots. This was said in the same video named after the face of Pokemon, and in the same franchise as Charizard, Mewtwo, Lucario, Greninja, Rayquaza, Eevee, Jigglypuff. I swear I was going somewhere with this. Blaze, I seriously do not understand how the only flaw you said her list had was her overuse of the term mascot, when, if nothing else, Tamashii's script had more than just that.
And that's it! This has been Looking Too Deep When the Curtains Are Literally Just Blue, the countdown. You stretched so much to try and find something that these Pokemon seemingly needed to have, when in all actuality, all they needed to be in order to be good Pika clones is, well, to be good.
That's the point of the video. She is trying to look very deep into those Pokemon. I mean, she is analyzing those Pokemon after all.
So why not analyze them in battle? Small of a part as it might be, that's still something one could say about the Pokemon. She did bring up the VGCs, and it's not like she said anything to the contrary about it. Oh, but I guess that doesn't count, but the anime does, despite the fact that she used it a grand total of once, and using either more would go against her number one choices being number one.
Now it's time for my overall thoughts. This commentary was pretty bad. It seemed to me like you had to prove Tamashii wrong because it's fucking Tamashii. And that's the biggest problem I have with this commentary.
I'll just use this last comment to transition to the final thoughts. And why not? Let's use the music from the video Blaze covered as the backing to this. Bear with me for just a moment and pretend that the person who made the Pikachu clones list wasn't TamashiiHiroka, but someone else. A brand into the past, Tricky Wii, or Yizo, NES Mario 123, I don't fucking care, just as long as it's not Tamashii. And my commentary on the video reflected the change in name and pronouns. My video would change in 3 places, and only one of them, my point about Tamashii's inconsistency between her worst gym leaders list and this one, was shown during her commentary, or could be described as an actual point against Tamashii's video. In contrast, one of the first things you said in your commentary was how Tamashii's video wasn't even that bad, and so much of what you brought up hinged on Tamashii or her opinion to exist. What if you liked Pachirisu the most instead of calling it the most forgettable? What would happen if the video maker wasn't Tamashii, or if Tamashii or her substitute weren't popular? Would that make the Clefairy point lose the one thing it had going for it, that being Tamashii's subscriber and view count? What if you also considered her video bad? Whether I made the commentary on Tamashii because it was Tamashii or not, one could very easily say the same of you. This wouldn't even be that big of an issue if you focused more on combating my points and trying to debunk them, but that didn't happen. You focused more on agreeing with Tamashii and skipping plenty of the comments I made, including comments that would argue against you. At the very least though, I can see where you're coming from with your title. Though I wanted to cover the disappointing Pokemon list she was a part of for reasons that didn't primarily include her, that doesn't change the fact that at this point, I've done 5 commentaries on videos by or featuring Tamashii. Don't worry, I can understand why someone might be disenchanted by me covering someone so many times. I guess the real problem I have with this is implying it affects the quality of the video. When you call a commentary bad, yet one of your first and main issues is something that should matter very little to the overall quality of the video, even if that complaint was valid, it doesn't bode well for the rest of your complaints. Considering that many of your critiques amount to flinging shit onto the wall and hoping that something would stick, yeah, that doesn't speak highly of your video. I'm not saying you couldn't dislike or have faults with my commentary, that's fine, but your motivation for doing the commentary shouldn't stem from, hey, I kinda like that video. If you have to rely on such a trivial issue to try and debunk someone's claims, might I suggest trying something else?
Let me begin showing you the inner Pokemon nerd in me by skipping most of this guy's intro. I say most because of this line.
I will warn you, 37% of this commentary were not supposed to be taken seriously, so please don't treat me like a dummy if you're gonna do a commentary on my commentary.
Well, I'm gonna call you a dummy anyway. Dummy. Oh, and keep this line in mind for later.
Yeah, this is one kind of countdown no one should have to suffer through alone.
I've seen a lot of top 10 worst Pokemon lists, and 99.89% of them do it all by themselves. Your intro statement failed!
Which is not what he said at all. He said, and I quote, "This is one kind of countdown no one should have to suffer through alone." Great. Not even 20 seconds into the actual commentary, and we already spotted your first problem, that you need a hearing aid. Your second problem,
your intro statement failed!
Please, never do that again. I'll pay if I have to.
Now this countdown's got a few big restrictions to it. First off, no Gen 5 Pokemon. Black and White weren't released at the time we wrote this, and even now it's really too quick to judge. Second, looking at whole evolutionary lines, not just one particular Pokemon. For example, Magikarp may be terrible in battle, but then it becomes Gyarados. And I know what you're thinking. You can get wild Gyarados in some games. And this is true, but overall, Magikarp's hilariously original evolution concept and general memorability make it far better than some of the Pokemon we'll see later on. Last, we are not looking at Pokemon for the Smash Bros. Effect.
So no Goldeen. It's a cool Pokemon, and it evolves into Seeking.
It's not that cool.
And that doesn't prove him wrong. See, I can make short nondescript answers too.
Also, this thing looks bizarre. Like Victory Bell's half-human deformed cousin bizarre. And besides, in terms of Austin Steel types, wouldn't you rather have Aggron? See? That's more like it.
I thought you were gonna say it has better stats or something. But no, you only say it looks awesome. What a lame reason.
Well, we do live in a world where people are going to judge Pokemon based off their looks. And frankly, I believe I would rather want an armored dragon more than whatever that is. Oh, and remember this scene for later.
It seems that every generation has its own new kind of Pikachu knockoff. In that category, Pachirisu is definitely the worst. It may have good speed, but its typing and its pop gun-like attack stats just suck.
Mono Electric is bad?
I can sort of see where you're coming from since offensively Electric is pretty good. However, defensively Mono Electric sucks. It doesn't help your argument at all considering what their next point was.
Even its special defense can't make up for the fact that its low HP pretty much guarantees that will be fainted in a second.
See what I mean?
Oh, great. Another single evolution normal type. We haven't seen much of those, have we? That's pretty unique.
Chansey has an evolution and it was in Gen 2. Does that make it single evolutionary?
Oh god, this. Everyone's saying, oh, some of those guys evolve, and they do, in later seasons. But the whole point I was trying to make with that is, they were single-stage evolutions in Generation 1, right?
Oddly enough, this came out a day before Dino Kirby's commentary did. Strange how the answer appears before the question, huh?
Dunsparce as a plus, I have to say, looks pretty damn funny. See? Even still, we ask again.
Why does it exist?
Dunsparce does have a point. It's able to learn really good moves such as Thunder, Solar Beam, Fire Blast, and a lot of others. So it's not pointless.
Do you know who else can? All the other single evolution normal types from Generation 1. Not only that, but Porygon and Snorlax can do what you're pretty much saying Dunsparce can do, but to a greater effect. By your reasoning, Dunsparce still doesn't have a reason to exist. It's like promoting a brand of toilet paper only by saying it cleans up poop.
I suppose Unknown has another purpose, to illustrate hidden power. I hate hidden power. It's pretty much useless in battle.
Well, it's not too...
Let him finish.
Unless you're one of those guys who want to use a complex mathematical formula to use it properly.
For the last time, nobody said there'd be math! I blame our schools!
Okay, so how come you can censor swears from Mad World, but not for No More Heroes?
When was the No More Heroes clip used in this video? Did I miss it back when I was skipping? Do I have to go back and show everything I skipped to check? Oh, please don't tell me I have to go back and show everything I skipped to check. Thank God.
Meet Cherum, a flower Pokemon which, of all things, has a cherry for pre-evolution. Yeah, this thing's awful.
Well, its ability is pretty unique. I mean, it boosts some of the stats of the party in the sunlight.
Yeah, a grass Pokemon that tweak the fire moves. In the sun, where fire moves get an attack bonus.
So if it makes fire type Pokemon stronger, then don't use it against fire Pokemons.
But it doesn't make fire Pokemon stronger, it only makes fire type moves stronger. That hearing aid really would be helpful right now.
Surskit's a pretty cool Pokemon. It's got a unique typing, Bug and Water, and it's got a unique appearance, being a Water Strider.
Its stats are low, but I mean it's supposed to, right? It's the first stage. It has an evolution. An evolution that sucks.
Keep in mind, we're taking full evolutionary lines into account here.
Wait, when I read the description, it says these Pokemon need to die. So that means if Masquerain needs to die, Surskit needs to die as well. That was sad.
So, it's not like they didn't come up with a reason to keep Masquerain on the list.
Has terrible stats and is fully evolved. Also, Masquerain loses the unique typing and design and becomes another stereotypical, tacked on.
Did you realize that you just showed the picture of the worst Pokemon ever?
Oh, come on. Butterfree is not that bad. It actually... Wait, he was talking about Lydian? Oh. Well, either way, it's time to bring back one of your old arguments. Remember this?
I thought you were gonna say it has better stats or something. But no, you only say it looks awesome. What a lame reason.
Well, you didn't. Besides, give them some credit. At least they gave a reason as to why Aggron was better than Mawile. You give no reason whatsoever as to why Ledian is the worst. I can agree with you that it's bad, but for all I know, he could suck to you for entirely different reasons.
Useless bug flying type.
And it's another moth. Another freaking moth! Masquerain pretty much bastardized what could have been a really cool concept. For sure,
Psst!
Masquerain.
That was the reason.
I fucking hate Delibird!
Dude! Language!
So what? You almost swore at the unknown part.
What, you mean this? Well, first, it had an echo later on.
You do realize we're getting into the real crap now, right?
Second, what Chewie was doing then was more of a cluster of F-bombs. And third, it was a joke. Are you that dense not to realize that was a joke?
Oh, and there I mention the next bit.
You don't even like that Pokemon. Why do you have to care if it runs away?
I don't know.
Hopefully neither of us have had traumatic experiences with Love Disc, but God, does this thing suck! It literally has the same base stat total as Delibird.
You okay?
Fine.
It has the same stats as.
Wow, so Delibird's and you swear now. Whoops, I saw.
You fucking potty mouth.
Risu's look like John Rambo. Not to mention, it's another useless water type.
Kind of like Unknown, you can continuously catch these things to get a reward. The incredibly useful Heart Scale.
Which you can find in Gen 4 easily, and not by catching Love Discs. Therefore, Love Disc is completely useless!
Wait, just now Chewie said Love Disc has a point, but then you said it's completely useless. What the heck?
Love Disc had a point, being an alternate method to collect heart skills, but that point has since been made redundant.
Speaking of useless, Spinda is another single evolution normal type with dreadful stats and a dreadful concept.
At least it has better stats than Farfetch'd.
At least Farfetch has a better concept than attack stat. Again, these arguments are not hard to make at all.
Its move pool is big, you can't do anything with it, but it's a good move pool.
So if it has a good move pool, it shouldn't be this high on the list.
You can't do anything with it, you can't do anything with it, you can't do anything with it, you can't do anything with it.
Work, you stupid computer.
Look at this thing. It's like Teddiursa without the charm. More like Teddiursa bird on a freaking Heatran. Spinda looks like shit. You know what? That's a perfect word I'd use to describe Spinda. Shit.
So you mostly focus on how it looks. Well, that sucks.
Well, at least they focused on Spinda's worst trait. That he's like Paul, able to do anything, but he sucks at them. Besides, you're one to talk, Mr. Lydian sucks, but I won't tell you why.
Oh God, not these two! I swear to God, you guys rip on Magikarp.
Nope, they rip off Goldeen and Seeking. Congratulations, you own a free sin.
To this day, I still have a hard time deciphering what he said there.
Splashing is funny as hell.
It's not funny to me, even the first time I see it.
Well, it was funny to them.
Have no reason to be here. I mean, what were they thinking? Vinian and Luminian are just fish. Like, not even cool fish, like swordfish or something.
Actually, they're butterfly fishes. And aren't butterfly fishes cool?
I'll stick with Seeking.
You can't use these guys in battle. Their stats are crap.
Their stats are decent, you doo-doo dunderhead. They have the same total base stats as Seeking. And they have an ability that makes them immune to water. Doesn't that make them sound useful?
First, you don't want to be called a dummy, yet you call them doo-doo dunderheads. I don't care if doo-doo dunderheads sounds funnier. That still falls under hypocrisy. Second, Luminian actually has 10 more points than Seaking, but Seaking has better stat distribution. Third, Luminian's ability is the equivalent to electric attacks on ground-type Pokemon. No effect, and that's it. This is not important as much now, but it'll come up later. Fourth, the irony of Luminian's abilities is that the only useful ability in competitive battling requires Luminian to actually take more damage from water, rather than none.
I mean, they'd get pwned by, what else? Better fish! Like, they deserve to be fed to seagulls!
Mine? Who would be cruel enough to do that to a butterfly fish?
Who'd be cruel enough to do that to the seagulls? They need to eat too.
I mean, of all the useless-ass water types, they might as well be the worst.
No, they're not.
Way to be descriptive there, buddy.
At least it had a point during one generation. These two are just f***ing bland fish!
Butterfly fish.
Okay, so the design may not be so bland. Their move pool is. The only thing that could set it apart from other fish is that it knows gust and U-turn.
You know, this is cruel. I'm gonna change it with a more fitting Pokemon.
I don't think this would fit, unless you took shrooms.
From hell's heart, I stab at thee.
You do know we still have one more Pokemon, right?
You know, I think at this point we should be skipping to number 1 now.
What could be worse than the fish?
Butterfly fish!
Like it makes a big difference.
Oh yeah!
At this point, he had a yes montage to counteract with their no montage. We're skipping it.
My god. Burmy is everything terrible about Pokemon.
Not really.
It's Lydian, you doo-doo dunderheads.
It's like the f***ing Jersey Shore of Pokemon. So it's a f***ing mind-numbingly f***ing stupid idea that looking at it makes you weep for humanity.
Its design is literally a horrible Pineco rehash to the point where they're both bagworm Pokemon. It's annoying to catch due to only appearing in trees, which in itself is ripped from Pineco, and also a stupid idea in the first place. Its concept was gimmicky.
No, the concept is great.
Unique? Yes. Great? No. Now, unlike Diana Kirby, let me tell you why. While it is true that no other Pokemon changes based on where they were last fought, this only affects what form of Wormadam Burmy evolves into, and that's only if it's female. In other words, the concept is completely worthless if we're male Burmy. That is why it's not great, because it has a 50-50 chance of doing something, and that something isn't something to write home about.
And it has horrible stats and a horrible move pool.
Oh, Earthquake is also a bad move.
A horrible move pool does not mean that the moves themselves are bad. It just means that the Pokemon can't do much with what Game Freak provided them with. It doesn't help that the stats are crap too. Plus, that voice is just as annoying as that!
For all of its horrible types and all of its horrible evolutions.
Not only that, but all the unique types of Wormadam, its female evolution, have done before.
How is a type supposed to be unique if it's already been done before?
Did you hear how he stressed unique? Seriously, hearing aid. You need it.
And better! Parasect is a better bug grass.
You're kidding, right?
No, they're not. You mad?
Parasect has got to be on this list. Not only they have terrible typing, but they also have the same total base stats as Pachirisu. Heck, I bet they can even beat a Swaddle. They're only useful for HM slavery, but they're still terrible. There is no way they're better than Wormadam.
This may bore some non-Pokemon savvy people in the audience, but bear with me. First, their typing isn't great, admittedly, but Bug Grass does actually have some key resistances in competitive battling, namely against Fighting, Ground, and Electric, all of which are commonly used. Second, where's Pachirisu on this list compared to Wormadam? Third, Parasect may only learn 2 HMs, but still, I guess it's better than only learning Defog as a Motham. Fourth, it can learn Spore, the best sleep-inducing move in the game, capable of instantly putting to sleep anyone who can be affected. And 5, Parasect's ability, Dry Skin. I love the double standards you unknowingly present, where you say one of Luminian's supposed highlights was its ability to negate damage from water attacks, yet you completely ignore it when Parasect not only negates damage, but heals from it too. Something Luminian can't boast about. Oh sure, Parasect will take more damage from fire-type attacks and the sun, but to heal from water and the rain makes Parasect a useful, if fragile, supporter. Now, what does Wormadam have? A base stat total only shared by Motham. That still sucks.
Scizor is a better bug steal, and even though Nikita is the only other bug ground, its evolutions make up for it. And its male evolution is awful.
Mothim is another f***ing moth!
And another f***ing bug flying! Both of which have been done to death!
At least not as much as Psychic.
And tell me, where were the psychic types on the list? And where were the bug-flying moths? I thought so.
Burmy is the worst Pokemon ever. It's unoriginal. It's unusable. Its evolutions are unoriginal. Its evolutions are unusable.
Something must be done.
Now you have your chance.
Well done. Now you're gonna get arrested for Pokemon abuse.
I'll believe that when PETA shuts down Nintendo for Tanuki Super Mario.
I'm the Autark Flame.
I'm Chewy.
And Burmy sucks!
Okay, so that's the end of my commentary, and now I got a few things to tell. Peanut3423, I agree with some of these Pokemons, but the higher ones are kind of stupid to put on this list. You didn't give excellent reasons why they're terrible.
Remember Ledian?
You just went berserk over them for no good reason.
Though they mostly did that as a joke that was not supposed to be taken serious. Wait a second!
I will warn you, 37% of this commentary were not supposed to be taken seriously, so please don't treat me like a dummy if you're gonna do a commentary on my commentary.
Well, this was the only time that happened, right?
For the last time, nobody sent them me back! I blame our schools!
Okay, so how come you can censor swears from Mad World, but not for No More Heroes?
Dude! Language!
So what? You almost swore at the unknown part.
Oh crap. What could be worse than the fish?
Butterfly fish!
Wow, you really are a dummy.
Hey guys, it's me again. I'm pretty bored today, so now would be a good time to remake 2 of my old commentaries. Now, you probably remember who this guy's name is. His name is Very Invalid.
Now, for those of you who don't know who Very Invalid is, he's a troll. From 4 years ago. And now, I'm going to skip a bit, namely his introduction. Why? He just tells us that he's going to commentate on both of his reviews, and he's going to use Mega Man as an avatar to troll Very Invalid. Now, this would be nice if he went any farther with the trolling. Needless to say, I am disappointed with him.
Playing the game GTA 3 is like watching the film Schindler's List, except when it arrives at your house from Netflix, instead of watching the film Schindler's List, you cut off your dick.
Kid, I own GTA 3 on PS2. It's a pretty fun game to play. Sure, it has a few flaws, but it's fun. That's what really
because
matters.
Apparently cutting off your dick is fun.
The problem when you start up the game and you're looking at the game is the graphics. The graphics make me want to shit my pants.
Oh yeah, sure, it's all about the graphics.
I'm going to cut you off here because you go on an unnecessary tangent about how graphics shouldn't be the most important part of the game. I say unnecessary because he only said it was the immediate problem with Grand Theft Auto 3. The first problem you're bound to come across, not the biggest problem you're going to come across. Now please tell me, is your headset on wrong or are you just an idiot?
Why in the fuck do you care about how a game looks? It's a video game, not an art project.
But if the graphics are terrible, you wouldn't want to look at them, now would you? I'm not one to say that graphics are the most important part of the game, but there has to be some emphasis on them.
I looked at the graphics and I did shit my pants, and I had to change my pants.
I know this is going to sound off topic, but when did you suddenly decide, oh, I'm going to change to Dr. Wily?
I just shat my pants. And, it was a pretty bad experience, actually. So when you get into the game, the graphics are like, Doom had better fucking graphics, okay? That's not...
Okay, now we're back to Mega Man. What the fuck?
Doom is a first-person shooter that was made in the early 90s, you idiot. And by the way, I remember this game getting an award for best graphics back in the day. So it just shows you are really full of shit, kid.
It sounds like he's full of shit only because he has a different opinion than what you or awards say.
Had better graphics.
Kid, will you stop talking about the graphics? What about the gameplay? What about the controls? That's what really matters in a game.
Then GTA 3, and I know, because I've played GTA 3. It's an awful, awful game.
Hey, look! He's talking about something other than the graphics! William, you're an impatient little shit, aren't you?
Let's say you get a shotgun, and in the mission, you have to kill a bunch of people with the shotgun. The game is not context sensitive. The game doesn't know what's going on at all. That really bothers me. See, what it'll say is, oh, good job with that work, Jimmy, Dean, Howard, and, you'll just be like, what the fuck?
Oh, they don't tell you good job. Is this really something to complain about?
Okay, so imagine this. You're literally risking your life, at least as far as the game is concerned, doing not just one job, but several jobs, and once you're done, all you want are your paycheck and maybe a compliment. No, instead you get a paycheck and a proverbial middle finger. Now, this may not be an important thing to him because, oh, I don't know, he's a troll. Did you forget that?
What is this? Driving doesn't make sense. Honestly, it's impossible to steal cars in the game because they all drive at about, 80 miles an hour.
That's common in video games. Not every video game is 100% realistic. You do have to take that in consideration.
Just because something's realistic and common doesn't excuse it.
Stop at a red light. The second you grab onto the car door handle, you get $6. I tried this once. I grabbed onto the door handle. You got $6 from the police, and a big-ass fucking tank came, and it ran me over.
Okay, does anybody have any idea what he's talking about?
Tanks? Duh.
Tanks don't appear in the game until much, much later. When you get to the third island, that's when the tanks appear?
Well, he never said where he was in the game, so it's quite possible he could have been on the third island. Do you know where he was when he got run over by a tank?
And I was like, come on, there's not even any police around. How would they know so soon? It's because the AI is unrealistic, people. Here's another example of really bad AI. I went up to this old lady, and I punched her.
You punched an old lady, you little bastard!
In the game, he punched an old lady, and this was just to prove how bad the AI is.
She was punching me, but now if she was smart, what she would have done is she would have slammed me in the face with her purse and kicked me in the balls. She wasn't that smart. She just started hitting me.
Kid, this is not a PS3 game. It has limitations. A PS2 is not as powerful as a PS3.
But a PS3 is also limited. It's not an omnipotent console. Wait. He never mentioned anything about the limitations of a console. He never mentioned it in his review. So, why are you bringing this up? Why are you telling us the answer to a completely different question?
I do not understand. I don't understand. How is that supposed to be fun? Here's another problem with GTA 3, is, honestly...
Kid, could you stop stuttering so much? It takes away impact from your videos. The tanks don't appear in the game until much, much later. When you get to the third island, that's when the tanks appear?
Can you stop stuttering so much? It takes away impact from your videos.
Honestly, you can't go into buildings. I couldn't believe it either. You can't go into buildings. And I spent like 30 fucking minutes trying to get into this one big ass building.
Okay, why would you spend a half hour trying to get into one building? I said this before and I'll say it again. You do know that a video game has limitations, don't you?
And yet the creators could still have worked on it so that you can go into buildings and so old ladies can hit you with their purses, you know?
I looked up how to get in them. I looked on fucking game facts. Nothing. And I figured out. I tried every building in the city. Systematically. It took me a long ass time. I tried every building in the city. You can't go into any of them, folks.
Once again, why does this even matter? The game is fun. That's all that matters.
And this could have affected how much fun he could have had with the game. Not to mention, he already commented about how this game was just as fun as cutting off your own testicles.
Except for the ones that lead directly to outdoor environments. There are no real indoor environments, folks. Another problem with GTA, it's not first person. Not first person shooter. I don't know what's up with that. Not a first person shooter, folks.
Kid, you love first-person shooters that have great graphics. Play Call of Duty.
If you thought he was assuming too much before, you haven't seen nothing yet. Besides, he's doing a review of GTA 3, and last time I checked, this isn't Call of Duty.
So, you know, I bought GTA 3 thinking it was a first-person shooter. I was let down. And, it doesn't make any sense whatsoever. And, if it were a first-person shooter, it would be amazing.
Okay, well, it'd be amazing if it's a first-person shooter. Can you elaborate, please? Explain?
These games called, Grand Theft Auto 1 and Grand Theft Auto 2, but, they are not in 3D.
Does it really matter?
Okay, for something as short as that, why don't you just audio duct? Do you even know how to audio duct? Because it's actually pretty easy, even with Windows Movie Maker.
And, it's very strange. They are actually better, folks. They are better than GTA 3. That's right. These terrible, top-down bootlegs are better than GTA 3.
Why do I have to keep repeating myself?
I don't know, but I have an idea. You could always just skip the clip. I mean, it also saves you time. Do you not know how to save time? Do you really want to draw your commentaries as long as physically possible? And look at that, he's done with the GTA 3 review. Now it's time to get to his commentary on the Mega Man 9 review. This should be fun.
Okay, kid, why are you grabbing your balls? That's gross.
To show that he has them without having to upset you. Wait, did you just audio duct? Why didn't you do this earlier? Now you have no excuse.
Oh yeah, look at me, I'm swearing. This makes me tough. Give me a fucking break.
Am I the only one to find irony in that last statement?
What is he saying?
If you don't know what he's saying, then how do you know he's swearing?
Oh yeah, look at me, I'm swearing. I'm so cool.
I swore I heard something like that earlier.
Come on, kid, start the video. Don't let me use the Monty Python clip.
Here's a better idea. If you really wanted to start the video, you could fucking skip! You're responsible for the only reason I didn't.
Hey, you motherfucking faggots.
Oh yay, I love to be insulted when I watch a video.
Invalid nickname here. Back from the dead.
You're back from the dead, huh? Didn't know you died. Well, I can tell you that no one missed you.
Okay, so I don't want to be insulted myself, so don't insult me at all. But if I call you a faggot, it's because I want to, okay? It's okay for me to insult you, just you can't insult me. Faggot.
You can plainly see. I'm starting high school now. My high school experience isn't quite what I expected it to be.
Kid, we don't want to hear about your personal life, okay? I thought this would be a review of Mega Man 9.
It'll come up in a little bit.
Like, all the sex you'll be having.
Well, not you.
Well, not at age 14, anyway.
I found it, like, I don't know.
Kid, try not to space out your words way too much. You stutter way too much. People don't take you seriously when you stutter a lot.
People don't take him seriously for another reason. Trolling.
Yeah, I don't know about... Okay. Any of that, really. High school is definitely different than middle school. A lot less, social groups, I feel like. I feel like everyone's more like one big family. I'm pretty popular in my school.
He's pretty popular. Does anybody else out there doubt that?
It's always possible.
Just thought I'd fill you in.
By the way, that's why he was telling me about his personal life.
Okay. So now I'm going to be reviewing a pretty fucking piece of shit game. Gonna be reviewing, Mega Man 9.
Okay, why is Mega Man 9 a piece of shit? Is the game too hard for you?
You know, maybe if you let him talk, then he might answer you. I know, magical, right?
Software on the Nintendo Wii. And, I got this game. I thought it was gonna fucking own. Cause I'm a big Mega Man fan. I play a lot of, Rockman and Mega Man 2. Pretty good games. I gotta say, they couldn't compare to Mega Man 8. That game was the best, cause the graphics were better.
Okay, folks, I didn't play Mega Man 8, but I have seen screenshots from it, and I've seen various video clips. The voice acting is crap, and the graphics do not look that good. And besides, as Patch 93 has stated on a number of occasions, graphics do not make the game. Gameplay does.
And here I thought the quotes on those motivational posters were generic enough. This out-generics all of them. The quote is so generic that I bet this Patch 93 guy wasn't even the original person to make that quote-unquote quote.
And, yeah, that's definitely, the game was definitely better. Definitely better graphics.
Graphics don't make the game. Look at Sonic 06.
And I'm skipping this because, you know, people might actually like Sonic 06 and might actually think that the gameplay in it is fine. What? They may exist.
So, I was fucking excited about Mega Man 9. It's like, the thing is, I don't like my Wii that much. Because there's not really any good games at all. Because the Wii fucking sucks mad dick.
Does anybody else think this kid is related to Chad Warden?
Well, they are both trolls.
And even though the graphics suck donkey balls, I was figuring, oh, you know, this will be a good game.
Hey William, did you hear that? He just said that, in spite of Mega Man 9's graphics, the game could have been a good game. Now, given what he just said, one can make two probably accurate assumptions. That A, graphics aren't that important to him, or B, that they are important to him, but not so much as to make or break a game if they are good or bad. And this is all assuming that we forget that he's a troll for a second and should not be taken seriously. I'm also skipping a bit because William decides to try and defend the Wii by saying there are good games to it, but only mentions The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess. More examples would be nice.
So I download the game. Surprisingly short amount of time to download. So I go into the little channel it has on my Wii, and I find something out. The graphics look like shit.
No, they don't. They look exactly the way they did on the NES. What are you talking
Doesn't mean they don't look like shit.
No joke. Like, you'll think I'm exaggerating when I'm saying the graphics look like, an NES game, but they do.
They're supposed to look like an NES game, you retard. Capcom was going for the retro look. Did you not see the trailer for Mega Man 9 was about to be released?
Screw word of mouth, I've got trailers to watch.
Bad NES game. Like, what were they thinking?
Why does the graphics look so horrible? It looks like a bad NES game. What were they thinking? Kid, you are not the angry video game nerd. You never have been and you never will be, so knock it off.
I don't get the mentality behind this. So, all he needs to say is, what were they thinking? And apparently, that's automatic grounds for calling him an angry video game ripoff. Maybe if this was done deliberately, but I don't see it. And besides, even if it was deliberate, again, he's a troll. From 4 fucking years ago.
Did they make the game in like 5 minutes? Were they like, oh, okay, let's make a 2D game. 2D. 1, 2, fucking 4th letter of the fucking alphabet.
Okay, 2 things. 1, that's what all of us old school gamers grew up playing throughout the 80s and early 90s. 2D.
Fucking innovation. We got our retro shit here.
And 2, 1, 2, 4th letter of the alphabet. Is that supposed to sound clever?
More than anything you've ever said.
Okay, can't this shit be edited out?
But he wants to get as much trolling in as possible.
So you can probably tell, I got a new TV, widescreen bitches, because I'm the biggest pimp in the universe.
Having a widescreen TV does not make you the biggest pimp in the universe. I have one.
At least you know about self-depreciation. Now, if I may skip a minute.
I was like, oh, shit yeah, man, I can get on the internet. No, you can't get on the internet. It doesn't even make sense.
I have the internet channel on my Wii. It works perfectly. You gotta try your connections out. Not to mention you're the dumbass who downloaded it and yet you're bitching about it.
That makes him the perfect candidate to bitch about it, because he actually has it.
NES graphics, like, no joke? Yeah, fuck Mega Man 9. Fucking NES graphics.
Oh, by the way, you say the Wii is a horrible console. How come you have so many games for it, then?
So yeah, look at that shit. Do they think that looks good, blown up? It looks like fucking someone took a meat hook and shoved it in their dick, then ripped their dick open, and then they converted that to fucking sprite form and then blew that shit up.
Oh my god, what was the point of that? That was so disgusting.
To describe how bad the do I really need to explain this to you?
Fuck that shit, bro. Fuck Capcom. Fuck Intercre.
Okay, now you're just nitpicking. Fuck this, fuck that, fuck everything comes on the screen. Kid, grow up.
Here's the funny thing. He has grown up. This was 4 years ago. He made this review when he was starting out high school, at about the age of 14 or 15. Now, he would be at about 18 or 19, attending college and, oh, I don't know, growing up.
Fuck that. I don't even heard that shit. Who the fuck's Dr. Wily?
Everyone knows who Dr. Wily is. He's the villain of the game. Okay, folks, remember what I said? Remember what he said earlier. He said he's a big Mega Man fan. But he doesn't know who Dr. Wily is. This kid has lied to everyone on YouTube.
Oh, boo-hoo. Just kiss and make up already.
Plus, and look at this. Listen to the fucking music. I'm not sure if you can hear it. Let me turn my TV up.
What's wrong with the music?
Immediately afterwards.
The music makes my fucking ears bleed, bro. Okay.
Hey, kid, here's a little advice. If you don't like the music, you can mute the TV.
But the music's still there. He can still legitimately complain about it.
It sounds fucking 8-bit. Did they spend like 10 minutes on the fucking music? Okay.
No, they recycled the music from Mega Man 2.
So they are lazy before Marvel vs. Capcom 3?
Okay,
wow.
Okay, load? Alright, what the fuck is this?
That's called files. Most video games today have them. You can save your progress, come back to it later.
Look, are you seeing what I'm saying about the graphics already? Like 5 seconds in. Now look at this shit. What is this? Look. Like, what the fuck? What the fuck? Look at this bitch. I would fuck that bitch.
He wouldn't fuck Roll, huh? You do know she's a child, right?
Well, it's a good thing he wouldn't fuck her then.
Let me just show you a level here. And the levels are way too hard. First of all, the levels way too... Just watch it. Jewelman, fuck it. He looks like a piece of fucking shit. Dude, look at that shit.
May I ask, what exactly is wrong with Jewel Man?
He looks like a piece of fucking shit. Fuck you, Jewelman. Alright, listen to the music. Again, my ears want to fucking bleed. Listen to that.
That's a great song, kid. What are you talking about?
Different opinions? What are those?
Anyway. Okay, so here I am. Okay, what the fuck is this? Are these fucking... This is we're getting Mega Man 9. Looks more like fucking Rockman to me on fucking NES. That game was fucking gay.
That game was fucking gay. What exactly does that mean? Gay doesn't really work when you're criticizing a video game, you know? Give us some constructive reasons.
You're the last person I want to hear constructive out of. You've been insulting him throughout this entire commentary. You know, with words like idiot, retard, bastard. Oh, I've been insulting you, but I don't care about constructive criticism. You do. That's why I feel you're hypocritical on this point.
I liked back in the day, I remember saying I played it. I liked back in the day, brings back fucking novelistic memories for me.
Novelistic? I think the word you're looking for is nostalgic, you uneducated little fuck.
Now do you see what I mean? Also, I'm gonna skip to the end of the video because these are all of his arguments until then.
That makes things you can get fucking extra. Oh, fuck that. You can't fucking extra life. Fuck Mega Man 9. And fuck you too. Fuck you.
Does anybody else think this kid should have been aborted with a coat hanger? This has got to be the absolute worst game review I've ever seen in my life. This kid makes Vib113 look good.
Oh, thank God we're at the end of the video. William, I just have one more thing to...
I know he's a troll, don't bother telling me. I'm doing this video just for entertainment, just for some lols.
Wait, you knew he was a troll? And yet you still decided to take him seriously? So I'm a dragon now. Okay. Probably get better by the end of the video. Now, maybe I should tell you why doing what William just did is such a bad idea. Mainly, it's just because it's counterproductive. What William has been trying to do, other than insult Invalid Nickname, was give him pointers as to try and help him review better. Chances are, Invalid Nickname already knows how to be better. He's doing this just to get a rise out of you, to piss you off. It doesn't help that Invalid Nickname was at one point one of the biggest bandwagons ever in the commentary community. So, more than likely, anything you said, someone else has already said about him. So, you're also unoriginal. Really, William? I'm just going to be blunt here. You're one of the worst commentators I have ever seen. If you really must know why, then re-watch this commentary. Also, as to get to that one point I was trying to make beforehand, I have to agree with the others. Final Fantasy VII is overrated.
Hello guys, this is DeAndre4, and here I am making my top 5 most overrated Pokemon list. Now, before I get on with the list, let me say a few things. The Pokemon on my overrated list are all good. I think every one of them good, and I like every one of them. And I just think they should get a little bit too much attention. That's all. I will also avoid putting certain Pokemon on this list, mainly because they've been done to death already, and I want to be a little bit more unique.
You could have been unique with the points you brought up against Charizard, or maybe the placement of where Charizard is, rather than, it being number 1. Then again, knowing that it's not on your list, that should say something about your ability to make up points. Oh, hi, obvious leaking off of Levy's list. How are you doing today?
Number 5 on this list is Volcarona. I can already hear the fanboys trying to start a flame war. Good thing I got the Flash Fire ability.
That joke was horrible and you know it.
Volcarona is a quadruple weakness to rock type moves, which makes Stealth Art users a pain in the ass. And this is something that I see a lot of people criticize Charizard for, and to have a complete 180 and praise Volcarona like it doesn't have the same weakness at all.
You probably couldn't see it because his text editing is bad, but he brought up Ho-Oh as an argument against Volcarona. The argument doesn't stack up. Ho-Oh is an uber tier Pokemon. It has an ability that recovers health. It has not one, but 2 moves that recover half of its health. It has bulk that trumps both Charizard and Volcarona. So the comparison doesn't work. And speaking of bulk...
And also, another weakness of Volcarona had is its low defense, which is basically like a big hit me sign. Any Pokemon that can outspeed Volcarona and hit it with a decent physical attack have a very good chance of taking it out, which is a huge flaw, especially because its speed is only 100, which is good, but still a lot of Pokemon can outspeed it.
1. You're forgetting about its ability Flame Body, which is a 30% chance of burning the opponent once it's hit with a physical attack. And a burn status decreases the attack stat. So, this can either be used as A way to decrease the damage dealt to Volcarona, or B, a parting gift that does continuous damage to the opponent until it faints. B. Here are all of the Pokemon in the OU tier that outspeed Volcarona. Here are all of the Pokemon that can outspeed Volcarona and attack using their physical attack stat. And this is the group of Pokemon that outspeed Volcarona and will attack using their physical attack stat. Not a very large list, now is it? And Roman numeral III, all of these options are pretty much banking on the person using Volcarona to A, be out of options, or B, not know what they're doing. In competitive battling, where you pretty much have to know what you're doing in order to win. If anything, this list is showing that you don't know what you're doing.
And I know someone might bring up Quiver Dance, but pretty much 80% of people who use Volcarona have Quiver Dance on it, making it very predictable and skilled opponents can be able to take them out.
Well, good luck with that, because if you can recall, Quiver Dance increases special attack, special defense, and speed. Volcarona's 3 highest stats, effectively increasing Volcarona's sweeping abilities and its bulk at the same time. Plus, the variety aspect doesn't come with Quiver Dance, but the other moves Volcarona's going to be able to use, because it has access to Bug Buzz, Fiery Dance, Fire Blast, Hurricane, Hidden Power, Roost, Rest, Substitute, and more. Hi, DeAndre Scrappy Editing Software.
Number 4 on this list is Jolteon. Now, only going after Jolteon used as a special attacker, not used as a scout, because I know a lot of people use Jolteon for scouts and just vote switch away.
Yeah, I'm just going to ignore one of Jolteon's better traits in order to make it seem like it's more overrated. You okay with that? Okay, thanks.
Now, Jolteon is a very fast Pokemon, and that's pretty much the only good thing that it got going for it, that it is really fast. Sure, it got good special attack, but that special attack is not amazing or spectacular.
Yeah, a really high stat is only good. In that case, I'm assuming that base 109 is only meh, and it's only when we get to something like 135 that it gets to, it's pretty good.
Which means that a Pokemon with decent bulk can be able to take a hit and be able to strike back. Which is something that you do not want to happen to your Jolteon, mainly because they have low defenses.
Base 95 is low, huh? Wow, your standards for stats really are high.
And let's not forget its horrible move pool, where pretty much the only special move that can learn other than electric are Bug, Ghost, Psychic, and normal. And so I might bring a hidden power, but that can only cover one type.
Wrong. Hidden power can only be one type. However, unless you're using something like Dragon, hidden power can cover multiple types.
And I find it weird that people praise it as one of the best special attackers ever, when its special attack is only above average or good at best. And some people might bring up the life orb and choice specs, but those items are double-edged swords that either limit you to one move or to drain your health after each attack.
This is only showing me that you know jack shit about risk versus reward.
Volcarona, who not only have a better special attack, but also better both with the HP and special defense.
What if you want an electric resist? Or what if you wanted a Pokemon that can hit fast and hit hard? I'm not saying there aren't other options that can also benefit your team, but you're making it sound like, oh, Jolteon sucks, when it doesn't.
And some people might say, so what if Umbreon can only be used at a wall? Some Pokemon can only be used in one way and still deserve their attention. But I find to be outclassed by other walls, such as Sparrowthorn, Fortress, Porygon 2, Bronzong, and possibly Vaporeon, which is debatable.
The only two Yu-Gi-Oh! Pokemon in that group were Bronzong and Porygon 2. You know, it just astounds me how many ridiculous comparisons you're willing to make.
And the reason why I think those are better walls is because of the fact that they either have entry hazard moves, other stats-inducing moves other than Toxic or Confuse Ray, or it can actually defend itself in the battle.
Even though Umbreon's main role is as a team supporter, using Heal Bell and Wish to recover the team.
And someone successfully shoots Taunt on Umbreon, you only have two options left.
Option number one is to go on the offensive. And with Umbreon's pop gun-like attack set, the only thing you have to worry about is foul play, which can leave you in the mercy of special attacking Pokemon, Pokemon with good physical defense, or Pokemon who are resistant to that attack, including most fighting types.
And option number two is...
Well, you're not even trying for your runaway joke. You couldn't think of something more unique or original? Like this?
Which basically give your opponent a free turn.
Not necessarily. What if the opponent uses an attack that the Pokemon you switch into resists entirely? In which case, you might get a free turn.
And some people might say, well, that can work for other walls as well. But at least for some other walls, such as Skarmory or Vaporeon, or even Porygon 2, they can at least dish back some damage if they've ever been taunted.
Porygon 2 is a tank, so the comparison doesn't work. Skarmory and Vaporeon are an OU, so they don't work as well. And even then, Skarmory has Brave Bird, which is resisted by your common Steel and Rock type, and Vaporeon will only have Scald and occasionally Ice Beam, which your common Water type will be able to resist as well.
And even on the Pokemon Power Bracket, Darkrai is easily one of the most popular Sinnoh legendaries out there, with its only competition being Giratina.
At this point, you're not even trying to hide the fact that you're pretty much trying to use Leedy's points from his top 5 overrated Pokemon list and use them on this list. Only problem? They're not working. The reason why this doesn't work is because when Leedy used the Power Bracket as an example, that was because Mew won. Darkrai didn't even get into the semifinals. Or when you criticized Volcarona for pretty much always having Whoever Dance on each of its sets, when Leedy did a similar thing with Feraligatr and Dragon Dance. The difference? Dragon Dance didn't help increase Feraligatr's bulk.
The main problem I have with Darkrai is it overly relying on its sleeping move, Darkboard, and pretty much this whole Pokemon is entirely reliant on sleep.
It has a special attack stat that is on par with Volcarona and a speed stat that is almost equal to Jolteon. Yeah, totally reliant on sleep. And even if it was, that's kind of justified in its ability Bad Dreams, where it takes off 1/16 of the opponent's health at the end of every turn where Darkrai is on the field with another Pokemon that's asleep.
Which make it very predictable and give you a lot of options to counter it.
Not really. If anything, you're only given 3 options. Option 1, have a Pokemon with Sleep Talk. Option 2, have a Pokemon with a Chesto Berry or a Lumberry. Or option number 3, have one Pokemon take the Dark Void and switch into a faster Pokemon.
And I really don't see why it gets so much praise, because the grass type with the chlorophyll ability and sleep powder can do the same thing just as effectively. And I always see how some people say that Darkrai can beat Mewtwo just because they're a dark type. 2 words, Aura Spirit. And another reason that people always overhype Darkrai is this role in the movie. Now the main reason why people always say Darkrai is the best Pokemon ever for his role in the movie is mainly because of 2 reasons. One of the main reasons is emotion. But it really doesn't help all that much in my eyes, mainly because a lot of other Pokemon can show emotions as well.
Except that's not it. It's not the emotions that Darkrai has, it's the emotions that it elicits out of us. Because this pretty much counters DeAndre's next point, and because I don't want to spoil the rise of Darkrai just yet, I'm just going to skip to number 1 now.
Number 1 on my list is Blaziken. Now Blaziken is a Pokemon that I can find just as overrated as Charizard. Now my main problem with Blaziken is the fact that most of the moves that give it notorious powers can cause recoil and so form away, such as Flare Blitz or High Jump Kick, especially if it got a life orb, making sure your chicken won't live long.
And that's pretty much the rest of the video. DeAndre not gained the concept of risk versus reward.
What the fuck, guys? Like, I don't know what's happening, what's been going on with this world, what's going on with this fandom. I don't fucking get it anymore. Like, I was on Instagram today, literally.
Wait, you go on Instagram?
Roughly 10.
Well, I think we found the first problem.
I go on from Instagram, then all of a sudden I see, like, a screenshot of a song, and I was like, oh, okay. I wonder what song it is. It's called Zayn Did 9/11. Apparently it's a comedy song, which I don't think is that funny.
If it's a comedy song, that should instantly inform you that you're not supposed to take the song seriously. Guess what she does for the next 8 minutes of the video? I wish.
That's disgusting. Spit on that song.
And your phone. Apologize now!
It's disgusting. It's the most disgusting song I've ever heard in my whole entire life, and it's $1.69. Like, anyone would actually want to fucking pay for that bullshit. I could wipe that on my ass, and it would still sound like shit.
Well, usually whatever comes out of an ass is shit. What do you expect?
Just because Zayn is of a different religion other than, you know, Catholic, Christian, or Orthodox, just because he's a Muslim, a lot of people automatically assume that, yep, he's a Muslim, he's a terrorist. I don't think that's the way the world works, people. I don't know if you get that or if you don't. But, yeah, just because Zayn is a Muslim does not make him a terrorist, okay?
No, but it does mean he's a part of something whose stereotypes include terrorism, hence the comedy song.
And this bitch, right, I'm changing stories here, this fucking mole went to a concert, I'm not quite sure which concert it is, with this poster and thought, hey, let's be the good Samaritan that I am, and let's show Zayn this poster.
You know, a good Samaritan would have flipped the video so that we could see what that said.
Oh, she even wrote her name with a love heart.
You described 2 girls in that statement, which means one girl was insulting the other, which means you just called Zayn a girl.
Hun, you shouldn't have. Because if I was sitting next to you, I just would have elbowed your tits and smashed your vagina out. I'm not kidding. If you were sitting next to me and you had that poster, I would have fucking raped your asshole with this Glad wrap thing. As you can see, it's like a knife. It cuts shit, so I would have raped your asshole with that. Okay?
How does one smell? You know what, that's not the point. If you were really a good Samaritan, you wouldn't be threatening Rucka for the crime of making a song about Zayn and his religion.
How would you like it if One Direction come to your house with a sign that says, "You're a fat slut, go suck one"? What? They're not doing anything wrong. They're just doing what you're doing. Going to not necessarily their place of residence, but where you are, and basically expressing how they feel about you. So basically you couldn't get angry at them because they're just expressing the way they feel about you.
Except Ruka did it through a song, not a sign, and probably didn't mean a single word in said song. Besides, if One Direction could get mad at Ruka's song, why couldn't he get mad at their actions?
And I hope to Jesus that you see this clip. Because if you do,
I can't be the only one who finds it ironic that she says she's gonna pray to Jesus that Ruka can see the video after telling Ruka that she would rape him with the world's weirdest dildo.
That is not okay. That is not fine. Just going up to someone and saying, "Hey, look, I think you're a terrorist. Just you, only you, because you're of like a social like higher status than me. I think it's all right because yeah, look, you're a terrorist. Let's be honest here, because you're not." Zayn, you're not a terrorist. I feel like he's going to watch this video and he's going to be like, yeah.
I highly doubt someone as famous as Zayn would even give a shit about you and your 600 view video.
I just need to get this off my chest. That just because Zayn is a Muslim does not make him a terrorist, okay? A lot of people are not understanding that. But, yeah, because a lot of people are fucking stupid.
Says the chick who thinks that because Ruka's song is not funny, he must mean every word he says about Zayn.
I'm so angry. I don't think people can actually fathom how angry I am right now. A lot of my best friends are Muslims.
But are you your own best friend? Well, I hope not, because if you were, well, that will just lead to some interesting issues, to say the least.
So if you have anything to say negative, please comment it down below. I'll like it, I'll thumb it, I don't give a fuck, whatever I'll do to it, I'll even respond to you. But if you have anything negative to say, I really couldn't give a flying fuck. If it's about me, if it's about the way I look, if it's about my religion, about where I live, where I come from. But if you have anything bad to say, please write it down below.
Just don't make a song out of it.
I really couldn't give a fuck. But see, a lot of people are sensitive like that. Okay?
Okay, Miss Good Anal Raping Samaritan.
Shit like that. So I hope this video goes viral. I fucking hope so. But it probably won't, so I really don't care.
There's probably already a viral video out there just like yours, and One Direction and Ruka Ali are probably reacting to it just the way they would to yours. One Direction wouldn't care, and Ruka's laughing his ass off.
And yeah, that's it. So
which is why we have almost a quarter of the video left to stream.
Because their skin color, because the way they looked, if they had blue eyes, green eyes, brown eyes, if they had blonde hair, brown hair, if they had ombre hair, if they didn't have any hair, if they had pink hair, if they looked different to you and you didn't like it, and you thought, hey, let's send hate to this person, you're fucking scum.
I could say the same thing to people who threaten other people over the internet for jokes or other trivial bullshit. Oh, wait!
And make you eat it than having to read that hate. Like, personally, if hate comes to me, I don't give a fuck. I brush it off my shoulder, I don't care. But if it's hate on a more larger scale, like, for example, going purposely to the concert or making a song and saying that you hate them, like, there's just a limit. Like, you don't...
One Direction probably get a ton of hate at their concerts anyway. I find it hard to see one poster doing a lot to them.
You've ruined a Directioner's life who couldn't get tickets because of your fat ass taking about, like, 7 billion seats. Dumb bitch. You've wasted your money. You've made basically Zayn upset. And I don't care if people are going to comment, oh, you made Zayn upset. Fuck off, okay? I don't have time for your bullshit.
Which is why I'm making a video about your bullshit.
So you've ruined so many people's lives because you felt it was really important to go and spread your message that Zayn is a terrorist. Maybe you're just a dumb slut and you just wanted to suck his dick.
It may just be me, but usually when someone makes a sign or a song saying Zayn's a terrorist, they don't want to suck his dick.
Warning, this video right here has some offensive language. If you're a young viewer...
At least we know what the target demographic of your videos are.
Hey guys, it's me again. Now, I got to talk about someone named Mario Tepoma.
That's a stupid name.
Not really. I mean, that's what my YouTube name was gonna be.
Hey, can you tone down the music? I can barely hear you now. Granted, I wouldn't want to hear you, but this is not the method I would have used.
Time to stop stalling and
Oh, thank God. I think it maybe has skipped like a minute of your video already. Oh, you're kidding me!
Mario Diploma has removed some of his videos, like the Crash Bandicoot one.
Well, you little...
You know, I actually question your use of clips here. I mean, shouldn't you be happy that some guy that you don't like is deleting videos off of his channel?
Infamous Sonic Adventure 2 review. Alright, this joke is getting old and I'm just stalling.
Really? You think so? Oh, and guess what he does for the next 40 seconds? Stalling!
That's how you start off your video?
The first thing you use in your commentary is a blowhorn. I don't think you're one to talk, really.
Why, Sega, why? Why did you have to make this fucking game and fucking suck fucking cool fuckers?
Sounds like he's got a colorful vocabulary. Eh? Eh? Come on, don't you get it?
That's stupid.
Wow, even the clips you use think you suck.
Sonic's 10th anniversary.
I'll get to the anniversary argument later.
Fucking series and the whole fucking franchise.
If it ruined the franchise, then why is it still going?
There's a difference between ruined and killed. Ruined means it's unsalvageable, but it's still there. Killed means the only thing it should be doing is pushing up roses.
I mean, this is the biggest fucking Dragon Ball Z fucking ripoff ever!
Explain that.
You probably already know where this is going, but I'll save it for later.
Game in the fucking whole Sonic franchise!
I'm waiting!
It's fucking gay, retarded, and for fucking faggots!
Yes, I cut out the part where he answers the door. You're welcome.
Now, as I was trying to say, in my opinion, Sonic the Hedgehog 2006 is the worst Sonic game.
Hey, remember the anniversary argument you brought up earlier? You know, to try and defend Sonic Adventure 2? Well, Sonic 06 was Sonic's 15th anniversary. So, yeah, your own logic fails you. Besides, couldn't you elaborate on why Sonic 06... Oh, wait!
Explain that.
Oh, you hypocrite.
Because he's got fucking quills longer than a fucking dick, and he's got fucking 6 dicks on his head, while he's fucking running with fucking little fucking shoes that look fucking shit. I mean, granted it doesn't have the fucking buckles, but it still looks like fucking shit!
You know, I think we can cut the nostalgia clip short here. Oh, and the reason he called Mario Diploma a dumbass? Because he had an opinion on Modern Sonic's look.
And then you fucking, the first level is fucking skateboarding down the fucking highway. I mean, what the fuck?
Attention all units. Suspect seen heading south. Block all major roads and capture the suspect.
That's a piece of metal, not a skateboard.
But he's using it as a skateboard. Besides, you really love nitpicking, don't you?
I mean, it's just fucking dumb. And then you fucking fight robots. I mean, what the fuck are the fucking badniks? This is fucking retarded.
Robotnik / Eggman had nothing to do with the robots.
You know, I'm just gonna cut you off here. You're answering a different question. He's not asking, what are the new robots? He's asking, where are the badniks?
All you do is fucking shoot stuff. And after that, you fight Eggman with your fucking dick that's hiding in your fucking airplane when you get close.
Come on!
Your video sucks. I'm not gonna tell you how it does, but it does.
Fucking gay! And then you get to play Eggman in this game. And guess what? He does the same fucking shit as fucking Tails!
So what? Just because Eggman is the same as Tails doesn't mean that it automatically sucks. Okay, you idiot?
How about you grasp this? His complaint was that Tails and Eggman have the same gameplay for each level they're in, except for Tails in that racing level he was in. I can see where the complaint comes from. I mean, you finally get to play as Dr. Eggman, and he controls the same exact way as someone else.
And guess what? When you fight Tails, you get up close, his boxing glove dick pops out of his fucking machine. Fucking gay!
Good job, my gaming icon just killed himself from your shitty video.
Wait, he only died now?
And then we got the worst fucking character in the whole fucking franchise. Shadow the fucking Hedgehog. Fucking emo, always moping about fucking Maria. Fucking gay, we don't care about his fucking past. He's a fucking Sonic, recolor, a supersonic recolor. He's fucking stupid.
I'm not a huge fan of the whole Shadow Maria thing. But when I played Sonic Adventure 2, I only kind of made like a teeny little grain of salt complaint. In fact, it's actually a nitpick.
Oh, you mean like you with the piece of metal that he called a skateboard earlier?
Shouldn't have been made. He's got a fucking white colored chest, fucking gay. And then you got his fucking levels. His fucking levels fucking suck. Just like fucking Sonic's levels. They're fucking gay, uncontrollable, have fucking lots of fucking glitches. Just fucking stupid.
I have only found one glitch while playing Sonic Adventure 2. It was a graphical glitch with the Chow where it didn't have legs.
Well, you could have always looked online to find Sonic Adventure 2 glitches. That could have helped your argument.
And then we got fucking Knuckles, the fucking dreadlock nigger in this fucking game. This guy acts like a fucking nigger in this game. He talks like a fucking nigger, and he's fucking stupid because he breaks the fucking Master N rule.
He needs it to keep the Angel Island floating.
You know, the game could have given us context on that or something.
And quit saying the N-word, you racist bastard.
Stop swearing, you bitch!
It's just fucking dumb. And then we got the fucking Rouge, the fucking same thing. She's looking for the Master Emerald pieces, and when she meets Knuckles, she's gotta fucking give it back to him. What's the fucking point?
Inefficient.
Holy shit, I'm not the only one who knows what Robot Jones is. Whatever happened to him?
And get this! The final battle is a fucking huge dick connected to the Ark! And after that you gotta destroy all these big fucking warts! It's fucking gay!
Seriously, stop talking about the male body parts.
You are allowed to say penis, you know.
And Shadow ends up dying at the end of the game, which was the best part of the game, for my opinion.
How about you give a warning about your spoilers? And plus, if it's a bad game, then you spoil the ending.
Well, in that case, Mario the Plumber has every reason to spoil the game. I mean, after all, he hates it.
I want to play a fucking Shadow in a fucking Sonic game. I don't fucking care! It's fucking boring. I don't care about raising fucking stats in this fucking game. It fucking sucks!
Haven't you ever thought that it was you that took to the Chow Garden?
So what if he does? That doesn't mean the Chow Garden is without its faults. Sonic Adventure 2 may be the desire of your sexual fantasies, but it's not perfect.
This is a waste of fucking time. All I do is fucking throw the chows until they die and go to the pad and fucking die and go away forever. And you stop making these fucking chow games. It's just fucking stupid.
Maybe I should get a Chow, name it Mario the Plumber. I'll have every playable character, for the Chow Garden at least, abuse it. Eventually it'll die and I'll laugh. Apparently this is what your idea is.
Whatever decreases the population of these fuckers.
And after you get all 180 emblems, you get fucking Green Hill Zone. But that's not all. They fucking put the green-eyed fucking Sonic in the fucking Green Hill Zone with the fucking motherfucking coil. It should be the fucking regular Sonic. And then after that, they say it's a complete replica of the fucking Green Hill Act 1 fucking zone. And it's not. It fucking doesn't have crab meats. It doesn't have the fucking moto bugs. It doesn't have neutrons. All it has is fucking buzz bombers and a few choppers. I mean, what the fuck?
Come on! So what if it's missing several enemies from Act 1 of Green Hill Zone?
He was promised a complete 3D version of the Green Hill Zone and wasn't completely satisfied. Oh, and I'm skipping to the end because literally he says nothing for the rest of Mario to Plumber's video.
Hang on, I need to be 100% sure this video's over. First off, dumbest ending ever. Second,
You didn't get first place at your school spelling bee, did you?
well, that game sucked big time. Now, what do we learn today?
Considering that everyone who watched your video probably already knew of Mario to Plumber before then, I don't think anything.
Now, if you want to play Sonic Adventure 2 yourself, you can get a Dreamcast emulator. However, you can't beat one of the bosses due to rendering problems.
So it's a new age Cheetah Man 2.
The game on an actual Dreamcast. You can get it for GameCube with the remake Sonic Adventure 2 Battle, which has an enhanced multiplayer mode. Yeah, he didn't talk about the multiplayer mode, neither did I, but mine was a quick review.
FYI, that review was skipped due to
You can
fanboyism.
also get it for PS3 and Xbox 360. What are you waiting for? Play it. It's a Sonic game.
You see what I mean?
But I need to end on something more positive. I got something. Well, I know it's hard for you guys to see, but Crash looks pretty darn happy about something. Wish I knew what.
Penis. Did I do that? Sorry.
What I look for in a Mega are a couple things. First, I think a Mega should improve on the Pokemon it evolves from in some way. Even if a Mega is good in battle, but the original Pokemon could still be considered better, I don't feel like that's doing a good job as a Mega evolution.
But what about cases where the original Pokemon and the Mega Evolution have different roles in battle? Granted, that would make the Mega Evolution more of a side grade than an upgrade, but it wouldn't make it an instant downgrade either.
Second, I'm looking for whether or not that Mega Pokemon can cultivate in battle when compared to other Megas. Since you can only have one Mega per team, and there's some steep competition for that coveted Mega slot, how we stack up to other Megas is very important. In making this list, I'm not saying any of these Pokemon are actually bad. On the contrary, they all have their uses and strengths. And if you want to find a way to make them work for your team, more power to you. Rather than thinking of these as bad Megas, really they're just the least good Megas, in my opinion anyway. Well, enough with the disclaimers. On to the countdown.
Number 10, Mega Heracross. Heracross has always been a good Pokemon, and one of my favorites. With its hidden ability Moxie, its already crazy 125 base attack gets a boost every time it KOs a Pokemon. And if you give it a Choice Band to hold, that attack gets another 50% boost. Its speed is decent, as are its defenses, and with a stabbed Mega Horn in close combat, it can take down even the toughest of threats. Enter Mega Heracross. It gets boosted defenses, but loses quite a bit of speed. And though it gets boosted attack, alone that attack isn't higher than regular Heracross holding a Choice Band, which Mega Heracross can't do because it has to hold a Mega Stone.
But the thing with Choice Band is that it locks you into a single move, and to use another, you're forced to switch out, nullifying any Moxie boost you may have gotten up to then. Mega Heracross may not be as strong, but it doesn't have that liability. Also, any Moxie boost you may have gotten as a Heracross can be passed down to its Mega Evolution. Sure, you can't gain any more once you Mega Evolve, but by that time, you shouldn't need any more.
Skill Link takes over and replaces the ever-menacing Moxie, and though Skill Link can be fun and annoying on Pokemon like Cinccino, Mega Heracross doesn't get a lot of moves to pick from to make use of it.
Mega Heracross gets 5 moves to abuse Skill Link with. Cinccino, your example, gets 4. Even taking up moves neither would use normally, that's still 3 apiece. Miss, this is not how you math. Please see me after class.
Since Heracross can certainly still function, and function well, as a Mega, it comes in pretty low on this list. But in my opinion, regular Heracross is more fun to use and hits way harder.
If you're willing to give up access to 75% of your moveset. You know, this segment felt like you're trying to treat Mega Heracross as a sweeper like regular Heracross, when it works more as a tanky wall breaker. That goes back to what I was saying earlier about side grades. Even if Mega Heracross isn't better, it's not worse either. You don't have to like Mega Heracross more, just give it credit where credit is due. Also, Mega Heracross's Rock Blast hits harder than Choice Band's Heracross's Stone Edge in most competitive situations. Just saying.
Number 9, Mega Houndoom. I actually forgot Mega Houndoom existed for a while, which is sad, but I've never seen a single person use it. Mega Houndoom works best in the sun, which means Ninetales is an absolute necessity to support it.
This statement is immediately followed by a picture of Mega Houndoom's stats, including its crazy 140 special attack stat. Sun support is helpful, sure, but necessary? I don't think so.
And since it's an all-out special attacker, you really need something in there to deal with special walls, which kind of limits your team options.
Use Taunt.
that's it. Most falls rely on status moves, which they can't use under the effects of taunt. As they struggle to do something against Mega Houndoom or switch out entirely, set up with Nasty Plot or start sweeping with Flamethrower or Dark Pulse. Or switch to a physical attacker, something most teams should have anyways.
Number 8. Mega Absol. As much as I love the way this thing looks, I have to admit it's not the most useful Mega out there. It's a glass cannon with not quite enough firepower. Its attack, special attack, and speed make it a nice mixed attacker, but compared to other Megas, it just doesn't pack the punch it needs to make up for its frailty.
Mewtwo is a legendary Pokemon who, before Mega Evolving, has a base stat total of over 100 more than Mega Absol, and Mega Mewtwo Y, alongside Mega Mewtwo X and Mega Rayquaza, has the highest base stat total in the game. Don't you think your comparison's a bit ludicrous? If not actually ludicrous?
Take that, rewind it back. Ludicrous got the flow to make your booty go.
Still though, it has some good tools in its arsenal, like Magic Bounce and Sucker Punch, and still a great improvement over regular Absol, so I'm putting it pretty low on this list.
Okay, remember that part of why Mega Absol is only number 8 is because it's better than regular Absol. This will come up later in the video.
Number 7. Mega Pidgeot.
It's later. I know Tamashii said it was only part of why it was number 8, but it still feels kind of weird to come off of saying that Mega Absol isn't higher because it's better than regular Absol, only to be followed by not one, but 2 segments where she never argued if the original Pokemon was better than the Mega Evolution. Speaking of that second segment...
Number 6. Mega Glalie. For the most part, Glalie's job has always been to boom things. It sets up entry hazards and then poofs with Explosion. With a Mega, it now has the Refrigerate ability to give its booms an Ice-type stab, and it gets better attacking stats all around, so it can be used more offensively. But at the end of the day, it's still gonna go boom. Do you really want a disposable Mega? Do you really want to waste your Mega slot on this thing when there are stronger, more reliable sweepers out there? When there are better field hazard setters?
1. You're right. When Mega Mewtwo Y is an option, I probably wouldn't pick Mega Glalie. Then again, Uber tier Mega Legendary against most anything else. I wonder what the average player will use. 2. Glalie is an offensive hazard setter, not a defensive one like your examples, assuming you're even using Glalie as a hazard setter thanks to its improved offensive capabilities. 3. Refrigerate Explosion is one of the, if not the most powerful move in the game. Most of the time, you'll either get a KO or severely damage the opponent while you get switching momentum. Not the best use of a Mega Evolution, I'll agree, but it's not as detrimental as you're making it out to be.
Number 5. Mega Aerodactyl. At first glance, Mega Aerodactyl looks like a huge improvement. At 150 base speed, not much is going to get past it, and Tough Claws gives it a 33% damage boost to any moves it may contact. But if you look at it a bit more closely, something is a bit off here.
You're damn right, Countertops doesn't have a Mega Evolution. What's up with that?
Bonus from Tough Claws, which means regular non-Mega Evolved Aerodactyl holding a Life Orb actually does more damage. When Mega Aerodactyl does use a move that takes advantage of Tough Claws, it's still just barely more damage than Life Orb regular Aerodactyl.
You're judging Mega Aerodactyl on what's really just 2 moves, while forgetting all the other benefits of Mega Evolving when compared to using a Life Orb. You're bulkier, you're faster, you won't lose 10% of your health with each attack, your Aerial Ace and Aqua Tail actually become stronger than either Aerodactyl's Earthquake, and you're not that much weaker with Stone Edge. You can still kinda call it a side grade since you're giving up on some of Earthquake and Stone Edge's potential strength, but if you're simply using regular Aerodactyl for raw power, you're doing it wrong.
Number 4. Mega Abomasnow. Poor ice types. Not only are they weak to some of the most common attacking types, they don't even get good weather. Hail is just disappointing. Very few Pokemon benefit from it, since it only activates the Forecast, Ice Body, and Snow Cloak abilities, and the only move it really works well with is Blizzard, which simply bypasses its accuracy check. It causes chip damage, which only ice types are immune to, making it difficult to build a team around. Since ice types have so many other weaknesses, you can't really go mono ice and get away with it.
Actually, yes you can. Even with a mono ice team, there are plenty of Pokemon who get secondary typings that take less damage from any of Ice's regular weaknesses. What's more, you're specifically tailoring your team to avoid Hail's chip damage while your opponent most likely isn't. I'll agree that it's not the easiest thing in the world to build a team around Hail, but that doesn't make it ineffective, thus ignoring the fact that any Pokemon with the Magikarp or Overcoat abilities also ignore Hail's chip damage. So for a Hail team, you don't even need to go mono ice.
Abomasnow and its Mega remain the only Pokemon that cause Hail to start falling upon a switch-in. Which means they are built specifically for this weather. So not only does Mega Abomasnow take up your slot for a Mega, but building a team to support it gives you really limited options.
Apart from how supporting Abomasnow is not as limited as you're making it out to be, here's a possible idea. Have Abomasnow abuse the Hail and not your entire team. Hail's no longer permanent, so all you need to do is stall the 5 turns out and deal as much damage as you can in that time. Also, it's later again! I never caught you mentioning if Mega Abomasnow was better or worse than regular Abomasnow. Heck, you barely mentioned Mega Abomasnow to begin with! Was this segment really just an excuse to rant on Hail? Because, to put it nicely, it needed work.
Number 3, Mega Sableye. This is another Mega that's arguably more useful in its original form. Sableye's claim to fame has always been Prankster. And while it faces competition from Klefki and Mega Bandit now, it can have Priority Taunt and Will-O-Wisp without using up a Mega slot, giving it a unique role to play in battle. With its Mega though, it loses Prankster for Magic Bounce and better defensive stats. And while that's great, because it was kind of frail before and it got an added weakness with the addition of Fairy, all it can do as a Mega is be kind of mediocre. It can make for a decent wall now, I guess, but it loses the thing that made it really unique.
And it becomes unique in another area, as a wall with Magic Bounce. Also, mediocre? It has high defensive stats, one weakness, an uncommon one at that, Recover, Calm Mind, the potential to burn, and the ability to reflect any entry hazard, taunt, and status ailment. Even if regular Sableye is better, I'd hesitate to call Mega Sableye mediocre.
And it also now takes up the Mega slot its job was to save in the first place.
From what, Mega Bandit? You'd still be doing that anyways by Mega Evolving Sableye.
Mega Aggron clone. Both have extremely similar stats in every area, and they have the exact same defense, with Mega Steelix having just slightly higher special defense and HP, and with Mega Aggron having just slightly higher speed and attack, you'd think they'd more or less cancel each other out. But Mega Aggron renders Mega Steelix redundant with its filter ability. It reduces the damage done by super effective moves by a fourth, and meanwhile all Mega Steelix can do with its ability is set up sand. As a wall, that's not a helpful ability.
Are you confusing Mega Steelix's Sand Force with Sandstream? Steelix can set up sand, sure, but that's not what its ability does. It uses sand to boost its rock, ground, and steel type attacks. Kinda different from setting up sand. As for its role, use it more as a tank instead of a wall, since Sand Force will increase the power of Steelix's main moves, including its secondary ground type. Comparing Mega Steelix and Mega Aggron as walls, I can see the former being redundant. As tanks, I don't think so.
And the number 1 worst Mega is Mega Bandit. It seems like a lot of my favorite Pokemon got kinda bad luck in the Mega Lottery. Mega Bandit is kind of a paradox. It gets boosted attack by a lot, but it also gets Prankster. Which only benefits you if you use non-attacking moves. So in order to make use of one of Mega Bandit's features, you have to waste the other. Not to mention, Bandit doesn't learn too many uses that it can make use of with Prankster. Just about all it can do is get Priority Taunt, Will-O-Wisp, or Destiny Knot, which is nice and all, but as mentioned before, there are other better Prankster users that can do this job without taking up a Mega slot. And do you really want to Mega Evolve something just so it can kill itself to force a switch? Thankfully, its attack is high enough to make use of the few physical ghost moves out there, but it's just too slow to outrun common threats, and it's not bulky enough to switch in constantly or sponge hits. All in all, Mega Bandit just doesn't make sense, and it's not worth your time or your Mega slot.
Since you've never mentioned regular Bandit being better than Mega Bandit, or at all, it's safe to assume you think it isn't. Even though Mega Absol is better than regular Absol, and it was number 8 for, at least in part, that reason, yet Mega Bandit may be better than regular Bandit, but it's never brought up, and it's number 1 on the list. Screw it! I'm going to bed.